That's a great sound to start
Do
with.
we want to reposition the microphone?
Yeah. I'll let it also point at you, I guess.
Well,
I guess you can participate.
No, you may not get it to
Well,
point.
usually I have it a little pointed at me because we've discussed it before.
Yeah,
You can project a lot better than I can for whatever reason.
So
Hi, everybody! Welcome to FixChat.com.
Where everybody fixes the chat all the live long day.
Also known as Ian and Kyle mangle the English language, or Ian and Kyle play Versus System incorrectly.
All of those things.
We're here. Yeah, we should talk about Ashes. No, we're actually not going to talk about Ashes. Probably very much this week we didn't play.
Yeah, we have
since we have streamed last.
That is a rare occurrence.
So that's unusual.
Yeah, to be clear, that wasn't necessarily a deliberate aversion to it. It was more of a consequence of the visiting order changing. Last weekend was sort of a game day, so I went over to. I mean, I guess it's moot for the viewers because they're all game days through the eyes of the viewers, but. I went to Ian's place rather than him coming here, and for some reason that results in different activities. That's how it goes. We usually do that monthly.
That's because Rachel participates the whole time.
That's true.
Increase. We shouldn't play nerdy board games for two people that exclude Rachel.
Yeah, that's an argument for it anyway.
Oh. So, Kyle didn't do his homework.
I did a third of my homework.
He did some of his homework. He was supposed to watch a video about Mighty Number 9 and how it went south. I didn't watch all of it.
To be fair, it was an hour video.
It was a long
about
video.
20 minutes.
I warned him it was going to be a long video.
And there was I would say it seemed like there was a logical breakpoint. It seems like a conglomeration of 3 separate videos.
Chris, sadly, I need to burst your bubble a little bit there. What passes for a game day these days is Kyle comes to my place instead of I come to his place. That's game day. It still gives me an excuse to clean up my apartment, but
so some of the value is still there.
It's not much of an event any longer.
It is so. Not for lack of trying, though. No. Not for lack of trying. Man, I think I squeezed that lemon without getting any seeds all over my taco.
Awesome.
It's amazing. It never works
We're
out.
both eating tonight because we're late, so we should take turns not eating at the same time so that we can keep this chat going.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Because we just had some dead air there for a couple seconds. Which is my fault because I shoved a bunch of granola in my mouth.
I mean, it's what the granola is for.
So we were talking about Mighty Number 9.
We were.
We had a little bit of an interesting discussion as I was rebuking Kyle at dinner for not doing his homework. I don't know if we want to retread that now, or you want to wait until Kyle watches the whole video and then we can go through the thing front to back.
The video in 20 minutes covered a lot, so it actually might be worth.
It did. Part of the reason
it up.
I'm rebuking Kyle is because I watched the video in preparation for our next stream when we first mentioned Mighty Number 9, and I sent it to Kyle in preparation for our next stream, and I think that was about a month ago now. So even having watched the video that recently, I have forgotten a lot of it again, which was the problem we were trying to solve initially. Actually, I forgot. Oh, shoot, we were late today. I wanted to look up the name of the person who made the video, or the channel that made the video, because I do like to plug people, especially if I'm discussing their work in the stream, and I didn't do it, so I don't know.
Well, it's yet another reason to revisit it in a future week.
So we'll talk about it next week. How about that?
Sure.
That sounds like a good plan. You finish your homework, sir.
Yep.
You're not going to pass the test if you don't finish your homework. No, Kevin doesn't really show up. I don't know anybody else, Chris. I know you. You want to come to game day? Come to game day on October 7th.
October 7th, don't forget it. It's at Ian's place.
Let's see, we're on the topic of video games. Any other video game news we should talk about? I'm still on paper playing the Homestuck adventure game. I'm not really, though. I got some kind of mental block there. I've been sleeping poorly this week, so that might have a lot to do with it. You don't want to play an adventure game when you're not well rested. So hopefully once I... oh, Chris is watching his hair. Once I get some more rest, hopefully I'll get back into that. I have played a little bit more of Metroid Samus Returns, and it continues to have the issues I complained about last time. So people are raving about it, but I think it's just kind of an game. It's not really great. I expressed it pretty well to Mike Micah. I want to read what I said to Mike Micah because I thought it was an eloquent way to describe the issue I'm taking with it, which I think is again an issue that Mercury Steam has with their approach to game design. Full disclosure, of course, they ruined my favorite franchise, or I feel like they ruined my favorite franchise, so I'm probably a little harder on them than an innocent bystander would be. Mangling the English language is
the English language is better. I was trying to figure out, like, as that was going on, I'm like, this thought doesn't have an end.
I was looking for a word, and I didn't find the word. Innocent bystander was not what I was going for. Someone who is impartial is what I was trying to say. So I'm a little harder on them than someone who is impartial.
That's like an innocent...
Like an innocent bystander. Exactly.
Stop
that.
What the hell?
Ian and Kyle mangling those. So what I said to Micah was, the original Metroid games were the combat in them was kind of fast-paced, and the focus was on the exploration and discovery, which is two things I really enjoy in all video games.
Yeah.
Exploration and discovery are words that if you can describe your video game that way, I'm probably more likely to be interested in it. But Mercury Steam likes to add complexity to the combat,
Right.
which I think I mentioned last week is often confused for depth.
Right.
Like complexity and depth are related, but if you add complexity, you're not necessarily adding depth.
Well, and I want to chime in there and say that...
Hit me.
Yeah, I think when...
That's not what I was going to say, by the way, so
I
will revisit it.
I want to actually keep talking about, the Mercury Steam approach. I don't necessarily want to deviate from that, but when we talk about... It's about where you add that kind of complexity or that attempt at depth, because to you, and to many players, though apparently not all of them, but to many players, Metroid isn't about the combat. The combat's part of the journey.
Right.
And there's like a little puzzle of, okay, how do I solve this new enemy type?
You're stealing my thunder a little bit here.
Sure.
So that's the kind of gameplay that
Thunder
Mercury
away.
Steam. That's the kind of gameplay that Mercury Steam has added.
Right.
But I'm going to use an Ego Raptor turn here.
Mm-hmm.
The original Metroids, the first four, I guess, really, the 4 2D ones that came prior to this,
Yeah.
they had really good game feel. And the way they achieved this is the design was such that when you play at a high skill level, you get sort of in a zone. There's sort of a flow to the game, and it feels really good to do that. And Mercury Steam's additions are all about stopping you and making you engage with these new mechanics that they've added, but they really just halt the flow. They make it a very stilted experience.
Well, and I think this is where, for some players, it's a change in the type of flow, because you've certainly played games. I mean, you play bullet hell games and shooters, and there's a very combat-oriented flow there. Though arguably it's more about maneuverability than it is combat in a sense. But when you look at something like a God of War, a Ninja Gaiden, a modern Ninja Gaiden, or a Devil May Cry as an example, all these games that are almost exclusively combat-oriented or exclusively brawler-oriented to various degrees. When you look at those, I would argue that there's still a flow there. I think it's a different flow. It's like changing gears. And this is where you get sort of that genre mashup, where when you look at the original Castlevania games, you look at the original Metroid games. Again, there were instances of more intricate enemies in some of the boss fights, but generally speaking, that flow was about a momentum of actual movement and exploration, a pace of exploration, and the combat that comes from that. I mean, even if you look at something like in a Dark Souls game, like Dark Souls is a great example of, I think, in some ways, like 3D Castlevania done right. In some sense,
So what I tell people, I feel like Dark Souls is what I would have wanted a 3D Castlevania to be.
Right.
And God of War is not. And what Mercury Steam did was God of War.
Right. That's very true.
When they revisited the 2D games, they made a 2D Castlevania, and this is now their second 2D game, the Metroid game.
They did the same thing.
They sort of add the God of War kind of
Right.
complex brawler combat, which just doesn't feel very good in a game that's about, in my book, should be about exploration and discovery.
Right, and I think it's interesting because so many people, I think it's undeniable there's still some success in the franchise. These games are still selling. There's still some popularity there. There's, like you said, some people are even raving about the new Metroid. But I think I think what's happened is there's a delusion, rather a diluting of the elements that you found most rewarding. It's not like those elements are gone, but they've introduced this new element, which isn't, I would say it's not necessarily dissonant, but it is different enough and not what you are interested in that it therefore becomes dissonant in that sense.
And don't get me wrong, it's not a bad game. It's a perfectly good game.
Sure, it's just not what you want
It's
out of
just
that
not what
franchise.
I want from a
series.
2D Metroid game.
Right. Well, they're arguably a 3D one.
Well, 3D graphics, 2D gameplay.
Sure.
I mean, it's closer to a 2D Metroid than I believe Other M was.
That's true.
Which was also 2D sometimes.
Was that also
gameplay?
Mercury's team?
No.
Oh, that was Team Ninja. I think that was Team Ninja.
It might have been.
The guys that did Ninja Gaiden, whom I referenced earlier.
Yeah.
So that, again, modern Ninja Gaiden. It is interesting. I mean, on the one hand, I think some of that comes from the concern that the combat wouldn't be as sustaining without the intricacies of combo memorization. I mean, when we look at combo memorization, like, you know, integrating links and dodges and all those things that especially we see in modern fighting games as well, there is some execution in the skill of those things, but it's highly variable, and a lot of the time what it boils down to is you execute simply to get extremely, what's the term I'm looking for? You get an execution of a fantasy you have in your mind. So it's not that there's a visual gratification. Visual is not the word I'm looking for, but it's a type of gratification where you feel like you're living out more of an extreme I'm a hero fantasy when your character does very extreme things. And very few games, I think, really, really totally nail that, where there's something that's really, really easy, but then it's over the top, I'm living the fantasy gratifying. I mean, I don't think you played them, but the Batman Arkham games actually do this very well.
I played the first one for a couple of hours, but I played it on a TV where it was too dark to play.
That's right. I remember there was sort of a comedy act with your television there, not showing you the game.
I actually called, I don't know if I told that story on stream. When I was setting it up, I had this crappy Westinghouse. It was my first HDTV, and it was literally like, I need an HDTV, but I'm kind of a recent college graduate and can't afford a big one, so I got this really crappy Westinghouse. And it just had bad color fidelity.
No.
So there's a gamma adjusting screen on Batman Arkham Asylum. Is that the first game? Arkham Asylum is the first game.
Yeah.
And it walks you through it as you're setting up the game, and it says, all right, so adjust this slider, this gamma adjust slider, so that you can see just barely the bat signal on this screen. And I actually called my buddy Kyle up, the guy who I've been streaming with for a year and a half, and said, Kyle, where on this screen am I supposed to be able to see a bat signal?
There you go. Or do you remember? That was something. I actually think you did call me, too. It wasn't
I did. I probably called you.
Called me. Totally old school. So,
you probably didn't have a cell phone at the time.
I may have still had the old clamshell, the old flipper. But I think when we look at what ends up happening a lot of times is games find their way to this sort of middle ground, which isn't necessarily bad, where the execution level is moderate but not high, and the gratification is very high. But when you hit that middle ground in a game where there's all these other elements, where there's things like exploration and discovery, I think that's actually a higher risk than in something like in Batman, which is the combat was flashy, but it was really simple and automated in some amusing ways. Where,
well, we used to joke that you had a B Batman button,
right?
Like they had a button that was described as a counter button, but if I remember correctly, I believe you could just hold it, and as long as you were holding it, you might have had to time presses. But it would be like
there was some timing.
But yeah, Batman would automatically figure out how to look cool and beat up a bunch of guys.
And it felt amazing.
I guess.
To a lot of people. So, but again, this is what they're doing there. Is they're saying let's make
cool.
Yeah, well, let's make.
It was impressive tech. I give a lot of credit for
the dynamic sort of animation
was,
system they had and the target orientation.
But that was not Team Ninja.
That was Rocksteady, I think.
Yeah, it was cool.
I want to say it was Rocksteady. But yeah, I think that's an example of. I mean, that whole game was a Batman. It was not a Batman simulator. Like when we think about a simulator, You think like flight sim, like I need to use every key on my keyboard to flip every switch in the virtual cockpit of a flight sim. It was not really a Batman simulator. It was purely the Batman fantasy. So it's like, how can we bring the feeling of doing these amazing things to people as utterly simply as possible? It's not to say the game didn't have some difficulty. There were some points that did, but generally it was more about this journey of just you being Batman and doing crazy Batman things. So this brings us all the way back to like whether or not you want to be Samus and what that means to you as a player. And somewhere along the line they decided to make being Samus or your various Castlevania characters. They made that. They're pushing it closer to that sim where there's like more intricacy, and it's like dial a combo type stuff. Like if I I'm crouching into this, I can launch someone into the air, and then I can press the jump button, I follow them back up, and then I tap it and do a combo there.
Metroid is less like that.
Sure.
But, yeah, certainly definitely their 3D Castlevanias were like that, and a little bit of the 2D was like that as well.
And yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I do get it. I get the appeal of that kind of stuff, of that, live the fantasy type stuff. But in your case, especially, like the fantasy of playing as that character and experiencing that world. I mean, maybe you don't even view it that way. Maybe for you, it's also about exploring the world and more.
Well, I will say, when I play any of those games, I don't go, "Ooh, I'm Samus."
Right.
I really am enjoying being Samus. That's not what's going on in my head.
And that actually could be part of it. I mean, we talk sometimes about like this is an interesting point. I want to dwell on this for just a second. This idea that like the way in which we view games and what we play games for is variable from person to person. And in your case, it's possible that the lens that you use is a very, very gamified lens. Like you're really viewing it. You're not endeavoring to get lost in the experience of some distant land or world. And some people do play games for this. They play them for this sheer sense of escapism.
Right. Well, there are some games that I do, but sure. I don't think Metroid falls into that category.
Sure, and they might be trying to push it in that direction. That's a possibility, because when I look at like, for me, I sometimes throw around words like, immersion or something like that. And for me, like when I play Horizon as an example, since it still is the current game, but now until the end of freaking time, like the immersion of like becoming this other character and experiencing the character through that world, and I feel like the game brings together a very high level of cohesion. There's a very high level of like each detail kind of makes you feel like you're this character. The Batman games are another good example where, regardless of what else you might think of the game, they make you feel like the character, and some of that happens through the artistic style of the game. Batman very mute, very moody, very dark. I think the voice acting brings you in it. There's a lot of pieces, and then the Batman also attempted to achieve this mechanically as well, which is, of course, I think you can't actually fully cross the threshold unless you have the mechanics to back it up.
Right.
But they had an accessible mechanic set that let you feel like you are the character of Batman, and I think Horizon does that with their main character as well, and some other games do that. But when you look at something like Metroid and you talk about the power fantasy of being this incredible character, well, for you, and certainly you're not the only person in this boat, but for you that's not a compelling reason to play a Metroid game. You to that point, you don't play it to lose yourself in the world of Metroid as Samus. You're playing it because it has these general discovery of an exploration in the world, and that provides a sense of fulfillment and a sense of enjoyment. But it's not from that necessarily that fantasy that way. I think that's sort of that getting lost in it thing in that franchise.
Sure.
And I've always been a big fan of that. I actually like when superhero movies do a take on a character where I can feel like, yeah, that's probably how it would be. Or with a horror movie, where I like the characters behave in a way and outcomes end up being like, yeah, I can kind of buy that if this ridiculous, absurd situation happened, it's actually why I will actually like the movie more. And I'll give only a single movie example. I'm a big movie buff. We don't talk movies very much. We don't have to dive into it. But the new Evil Dead.
I got more stuff to get to.
That's true. But Evil Dead was an example of the new one, of something that like a lot of people didn't like, and it was sort of an unrelentingly brutal and dark film. But I actually really liked it because I'm like, well, if demons were possessing people, yeah, this is kind of how it would go down. Like, it's not great. And so I enjoyed it for that. So that's sort of one of my consistent draws in movies and in games and in stories in general.
So, Chris, you may be right. I may be turning into an old grumpy person who doesn't like games, a Kevin, if you will.
Inside joke, everyone.
For just to whip out the contrapositive here, I might argue that the actual opposite point of what you said is true, in that I'm dinging Metroid for not being a very fun game, whereas Kyle, at least in the terms of this discussion, is praising its merits for being an immersive experience, and he's going to think I'm belittling his opinion, and I'm doing it just to make a point. Sort of like watching a movie, right? Like I don't play games necessarily. Like I don't play games exclusively because they tell a good story, or they look pretty, or they're cinematic, or whatever. I will play those games if I also have a good time with them.
Sure.
And I think that's the core of what makes a good video game. Like, I play games that don't have any graphics, or minimal graphics, or silly graphics, or whatever, because they're fun. So, balancing those two, I think, is very important from a game development standpoint.
I think, and to be clear, I wouldn't say I'm praising Metroid. I'm merely pointing out
Well,
perhaps
I didn't mean to imply that you were playing, but the things you were describing when discussing Metroid and Batman and other games.
It's a fair observation. I mean,
and I think Batman was a really good game too. So I don't detract from it in any way. It is a game that probably does walk that line very well.
Yeah, and it's not all games are going to appeal to all people. And I think again, it's more about talking about the direction I think they were trying to push things, and what kind of fantasy resonates with different people, what kind of experience. And I definitely play my share of games that don't fall into the type of game I was just talking about. Like, I don't think Diablo falls in that game, genre. Diablo is super, super gamey.
No.
And always has been. But I played not as much as you, perhaps, but I put in a non-trivial amount of time to at least.
Well,
Diablo
I think Diablo has a good story, especially Diablo 3, and a lot of people criticize it for its story. But
not criticizing the story, more the that degree of immersion or character simulation. Like, when you know the way you interface with the experiences, you're not going to get lost. I am the sorcerer, when you're like click, 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 and it's like you're pushing the same button repeatedly to do, mow down bazillions of dudes. It's weird.
Sure.
I'm not saying that's not gratifying, to be clear. And like, I played the Dynasty Warriors games, which are visually, they're actually finally good, but they were dreadful for like most installments of it ever. But that's very much the mechanical power fantasy, where you like wade into 100 dudes and you mow them all down and you're like, whoa, I'm crazy.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on from video games? You think?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's see. One quick announcement.
Ooh, an announcement.
Other Ocean, the company I work. Well, I'm gonna have to do two quick announcements. First announcement: Other Ocean, the company I work for.
So many announcements.
Yeah, too many announcements. We are going to be participating in Extra Life this year, which, if you don't know, is a fundraising effort that encourages people to stream games. We're going to be streaming games, the whole company, in shifts from midnight Saturday, November 4th to midnight. How the hell do you say this? From the 4th is Saturday. Saturday and November 4th is when we'll be streaming. We'll be streaming from midnight to midnight. The first midnight is Friday. That's not right. The first midnight is Saturday and the second midnight is Sunday.
Well,
Did anybody catch that? All right, start over. So, two announcements. Other Ocean will be participating in Extra Life. We'll be live streaming. Bits of us will be live streaming Saturday, November 4th.
Bits of us.
All day, 24 hours. From the earliest bit of Saturday, November 4th, you can have to the latest bit you can have.
So through Saturday,
yes,
perhaps.
You can
all
join
the
us,
day.
You
Saturday.
can join us Friday at 11:59, and the very next minute, we will be streaming.
You got this, man. We were actually just wrestling this with that very problem at work today. Where it's like,
it's complicated.
Does it start at midnight or end at midnight? Yes. But on which day? Yes.
And announcement number 2, which is probably not going to reach anybody, but I'll throw it out there just in case. We're hiring again. Other Ocean needs engineers. If you're an engineer in the Bay Area, get in touch with me, Ian. Any way you can.
What if you're an engineer that wants to move back to the Bay Area from Texas?
Especially get in touch with Ian. And if you're an engineer not in the Bay Area, get in touch with me anyway. We'll talk. We might have room for you. We might be growing in a big way. We got a lot of work.
There are worse problems.
Yes.
I do want to comment, Chris. I want you to know I love Dynasty Warriors since its sort of real start, which was Dynasty Warriors 2. I'm merely pointing out that they have improved the draw distance. One of the most infamous problems is when you would be surrounded by guys and you would see 10 guys because that's all they could draw, but there were like 100 guys around you.
Well, see, it's a funny franchise to hang your hat on. And I say that for a couple of reasons. One, because I always thought the gameplay was kind of uninteresting, and I admit I haven't played some of the earlier games like you guys have. And 2, the modern ones are really terrible. And you guys don't know this because you haven't been playing them, but like all these stupid spin-off games, they're bad.
The spin-off ones are bad. The Gundam ones were bad. There was Fist of the North Star one that was awful. Oddly, the Gundam one had one interesting mechanic, which surrounded sort of territory control on the map that was dynamic. It was really good, really well executed. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but the combat was noticeably worse in the Gundam one. One of the things that makes the series kind of amusing is all the characters have their own special moveset, so they all feel a little bit different when done right. Except in the Gundam game where everybody just pilots an identical Gundam. And so like they take away the only thing that gives variety to what is admittedly sort of a homogeneous experience. But yeah.
So I need to talk very briefly. I will try to be brief. I need to talk about the Oriville. I
haven't watched it.
Because my dad's been bugging me about it all week, possibly for several weeks. So I think I need to spend a few minutes talking about it.
Sure.
I think he's excited about it. I don't know. I haven't talked to him directly about it yet. And he usually doesn't make it this far in the stream, but maybe if I put it in the comments that we discussed it, it'll jump ahead.
Timestamp it.
Yeah. So the Orville it was marketed as a comedy show featuring, from the mind of Seth MacFarlane. And starring Seth MacFarlane, among other people. That is in a world that's very Star Trek inspired. And that's kind of true.
But
I would say it's more like a Star Trek show that sometimes has some really dumb jokes in it. Like, I almost think that he was like, I think that MacFarlane approached people and said, I want to make a Star Trek show. I want to make an original sci-fi show that's like Star Trek. And they said, well, you're Seth MacFarlane, you have to put stupid jokes in it.
Right.
And he did a little bit, but not very much. And it has stupid jokes in it. And it has some funny stupid jokes in it. Mostly they don't land. But it's very interesting. It's not really like anything I've ever watched. The people at the office are gung-ho about it. I'm not sure I like it. It's early. I've only seen 3 episodes in. I've watched all 3. The first one certainly was like a blend of dumb humor and Star Trek. And the second one was like mostly Star Trek and a little dumb humor. And the third one was almost no dumb humor and was basically like an episode of Star Trek. And I'm going to continue watching it. I suspect I'll eventually go, I don't like this, I'm going to stop watching it. But a lot of the draw for me right now is I'm not sure what it's trying to be. It's a puzzling presentation.
There's just a novelty in that. I think MacFarlane's already, he's actually got pretty legitimate geek cred. He's very much a Star Trek fan. He was an executive producer on Cosmos when it was on Fox, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, and most people didn't even know he was an EP on the show. And I think, so he really loves that stuff, and it's very funny the way you describe that, because I can imagine that being the way it went down. He's like, I want to make a serious sci-fi show, and they're like, make it funny.
So I wonder if like it's legit just going to grow into Star Trek, like a Star Trek show, and it's not like it's definitely either a parody or an homage, but it's so
It's got to pick one. It sounds like.
it's so respectful of the source material. It's almost mind-boggling how well they've emulated the source material.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this to McFarlane's credit. One of the things that he does on Family Guy that I did not realize when I first saw it, the percentage of the humor in that show, which is referential humor, is astronomical, and I didn't know it. And I, many years later went back and watched some of the first and second season, and I had originally thought, oh, here's a reference I get. Oh, ha ha ha. Like 50 to 75% of every episode is actually referential humor. Even like camera movements and these incredibly ridiculous, one-off things or one-liners, and I don't know. It's all referencing pop culture, and that can be everything from a television ad in the 90s to an animated character from the 80s to Star Trek from the late 60s or whatever. So it's definitely he is very pop culture savvy, and ultimately those jokes work just as well when you get the references, if not better, because they are so consistently respectful. His musical numbers are ridiculous in Family Guy because he has like Stewie singing some Broadway song. But then you realize that he's really parodied an actual Broadway song from beginning to end, if not incorporated it verbatim into Family Guy. So he's very respectful of source material, so that makes sense. But it is very funny because it sounds like he may have painted himself into a corner with this, or the studio may have forced him to.
I'm sure I'll talk to you about it more. Maybe it'll come up on stream again.
That's interesting.
Those are my initial thoughts. Two more things I want to cover before we play some versus system, and then we should.
It was two more things. Two things ago.
No, there was two announcements.
Oh.
I just wanted to share that I got a new accessory. That is, let me get this on the stream here. You don't get to see much of what Ian's wearing. Ian is now wearing a cool beaded panda bracelet that my friend Naomi made for me.
That's pretty awesome.
So I wanted to show that off.
That's pretty great.
And I'll probably be wearing this every week forever, until it falls apart. I hope it doesn't fall apart.
No, that
soon.
is pretty spectacular.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that some of our promotional materials for the Disney Afternoon collection came in today.
Yeah.
And this is one of them, which I'll be wearing also today. Let me get on the camera here.
Yeah. Is that a
it's a
snap bracelet? Oh my gosh.
It says Disney Afternoon collection.
I thought our technology had evolved past snap bracelets now. I'm amazed to see it hasn't.
So, two accessories tonight. You want to play some Versus System?
What?
We are actually back on... Oh, it's got all beat up. We are actually back on what is this? Bag sort.
Bag sort!
We are on script again. We were off script for a few weeks because Ian did some crazy stuff with decks, and now we're back to normal.
Crazy, unsettling times. All right, well, why don't you point to a deck, Ian? As though this is the way we had always done things before I became incredibly awkward. So this one is a...
well, I don't know if there was a before you became incredibly awkward.
Fair. Entirely fair. But I became more awkward when I had to pick a deck. This one is a double A.
Okay. Double A. Right on.
Oh, some good zippy banter and conversation there. A lot to talk about, and due to my own lateness, I had to write a forum post. I'm sorry, guys. That kept me behind a little bit late today, so it is my fault and not Ian's this evening.
I already blamed you.
No, that's fair. I just had to own up to it.
Something is wrong.
Uh-oh.
Something is wrong with the way my decks are laid out.
Oh.
I'll figure it out.
I believe you. Okay,
that is not who I'm going to be playing.
Early reactions are in for the new Justice League movie, and people are actually really excited about it, just like they were for Batman v Superman.
That is not what I'm going to be thinking. This is a different color than I thought it was. That's what's confusing me here. I bet it's this deck.
I bet it's that deck too.
I bet it's this deck.
I don't know.
That's
the first
deck.
one.
I got it.
The second one?
I got it.
Yay.
I found the deck.
He's got the deck, everyone.
Ian's got his deck.
Honey,
Chris, what were you am I getting there? I'm curious.
What was the what? What did he...
I'm trying to gauge what he was reacting to. Of course, we had a little delay. It seemed like he was reacting to my bracelet, but I'm not sure.
It's probably the bracelet. If not, let's just apply it to the bracelet and assume that's what he meant. If it was anything else, it was clearly a misreaction, whereas it should have been a reaction to the bracelet.
Maybe it was reacting to us talking for so long and not playing versus system.
That's also a possibility. Also a possibility. A thing I cannot rule out. Alrighty, so I've shuffled this deck mostly, so I'm going to now take it and place it in front of me like this and cut your deck.
Alrighty.
And all this stuff I've just done. Ah, yes. That's two more things. That's good. Alright, we'll allow that reaction.
We got through them pretty fast, as I was trying.
Yeah, it's true.
Alright, I'm going to go this week Outer Die.
Outer Die has been selected by Ian, and he has won.
Huzzah! These are Anne. What are these, Anne?
And something. Aha! You thought you had won, but you had really lost.
I think these are an odds deck.
Alrighty then. Well, I really enjoyed this.
Huh. That's a draw. That's a draw. I'm going to keep that.
I think you called it. I think it's a draw. that delightful, huh? I had some real good ones last week, or whenever the hell we...
Yeah, last week was interesting. Last week I had a terrible game and you had a terrible game, and we pretended the middle game was good. It was kind of mediocre.
It was kind of... So it's all relative, I guess.
Did I say I'm going odds?
You did.
All right, you're going to love this.
Oh, boy.
So,
Look at that, it's Beast.
when Beast comes into play, you may discard an Avengers character card. If you do, search your deck for a team-up card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. I'll be discarding Beast.
I have my suspicions. Giving away a power-up, though, not to be taken lightly. Not to be taken lightly.
I'm going to go get... Where the hell are my thing?
Nope. No
Where
is
is
the
it?
answer.
Where?
Nope.
Where?
answer's
Are
still
they
no.
all near the top? That'd be hilarious. Here's one.
What's the
What's
top
the top card?
Top
Yeah.
card. There we go. You
You
got it. Yay.
Yeah, I team up.
Team up. Yay. Oh, man. Team ups for everyone. I guess you're formed with Beast just beasting around.
Yeah.
I shall not recruit a 1-drop.
All right, Beast will hit you. Beast will hit you for 2.
It's a smart play.
Could have powered up.
Not anymore, fool. Not anymore. Alright, I'm gonna draw some
Almost
cards.
cut my own deck again. I threw my cards on the floor. This is exciting.
This is real exciting. I'm loving
Doing
it.
a very dynamic game here.
Very dynamic. Very dynamic.
Ooh, shucks. I need something there that's going to not work. Your initiative.
It is my initiative. I'm going to recruit Sasha Bordeaux, who gets +1/+1 while equipped, and also Knight team attackers I control get +1 attack. Then, I'm going to give her a tricked out sports car. I may exhaust a location I control rather than pay its cost. Yeah, I actually do have a location, so I'll flip that. Checkmate safe house, which is not unique, is an additional cost to flip it. I can choose, it can work as a team up, but also I can activate it to give characters defending in my support row +1 defense for the turn. But in this case, I'm going to exhaust it to equip the tricked out sports car, which gives +2/+1.
Sure about that?
to a
You seem to be
character.
having trouble over there.
No, I got it. Everything I said was okay. It was just like 50 steps. So right now, this gives her +2/+1, and whenever she's equipped, she gets +1/+1.
Boy, I'm really going to suffer for not having a 2. That
That's true.
sucks. How much is it?
On attack for
11? 17?
It's 6. It's
28?
It is 6.
I'll be taking 6.
Woo!
Dang.
This not do that yet. Okay.
No, not this. Not this.
I hear that. I do hear that. On the plus side, it is your initiative.
The draw is so super weird. God, she's so big. She's big.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Just terrible. I'm gonna recruit Captain America.
Not that bad.
Characters adjacent to Captain America have the Avengers affiliation. Team attackers adjacent to Captain America get +1 attack. Not that bad. He's half the size of your 2-drop.
That is exactly my 2-drop. Exactly my 2-drop. I'm going to recruit Graziella Reza. Everybody loves Graziella Reza. She has exhaust location you control to get +1 attack. And we'll put her in my... I guess I'll put her here, maybe? You don't have flight, it seems. I'm going to go like this. We're going to do it this way. This is the way that I do it. Just like this.
This deck has never done this before, and it's super confusing. Attacker, I guess?
Yeah. We are stunned?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'll take 3.
I will also take... I'll take 4.
And 6 more?
Yeah.
Jesus. Jesus. That's a heck of a life deficit because my deck is doing stupid things.
That's... true.
And a character deficit too now.
Oh boy, and now
just
it's
to,
my
just to make it
initiative.
more fun.
Well...
I'm shocked at how terrible this is going.
I guess I'm going to recruit Harry Stein. Everybody loves Harry Stein. When he's put in the KO pile from play, I lose. But knight characters I control get +1/+1, which is currently all my other characters. I sure hope you have a character. Now'd be a good time to have
I
one.
do. I will explain when I lose this game in 2 turns why this is going so badly. I'm going to recruit Thor.
It's Thor. Thor's really good.
As an additional cost to recruit Thor, reveal an Avengers character card from your hand or resource row. I will reveal that I have Captain America.
Nice.
Whenever Thor causes breakthrough to a player, put the top card of your deck in your KO pile, and that player loses endurance equal to the cost of that card.
Top card of your deck?
Your deck.
My deck. Oh, that's interesting.
No, my deck. You're right. Top card of
okay.
my deck.
Okay. I gotta think about this here. So...
I can't believe how terrible this is.
I think the correct play is for...
Thor. His name is Thor.
Thor. I guess... I gotta think about this. This is interesting. Oh, I bet he can deal so much damage. So how do I take not so much damage? I guess the right play... Actually, I have to decide if I take a bunch of damage or if I get to keep a character. I think that is the position I'm in, which is kind of irritating.
Yay?
We're at 35 right now. There's a thing I should have done that I did not do. That's interesting. I think Harry Stein's going to attack Captain America for... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. My knight characters do get +1/+1. How does that affect things? Does it affect things at all? Probably not. That's disappointing. If I do that, you'll do that. Ugh, it's still bad. Alright, yeah, I'm going to attack Captain America with Harry Stein.
It'll work. I will take 7.
Yeah.
I have to hit Grazi.
Rezi. So right now, I am a 5/6.
Is that right? Is it less risky to hit the back character? She's also 5.
She is a 6/5.
I guess it also guarantees the breakthrough. I will hit the back character.
Okay. Back character makes breakthrough more likely.
No way I'm keeping Thor. Or no way I'm not getting stunned.
So right now I still need an attack. Did I do that right? I apologize. This may make you reconsider. I gave you the stats of my back character wrong because Checkmate's silly. She is +1/+1 while equipped. That makes her a 4/3. This gives her +2/+1, which makes her a 6/4. He gives her a 1/1 bonus, which makes her a 7/5. So right now with that attack,
All right,
I don't have to do anything.
I'll hit the front one.
She's affected by a lot less, so that's also easier to calculate. She is only +1/+1 at the moment.
Maybe get the damage off the table from the reinforced to save you. I don't know if you're interested in that.
I'm not sure.
Probably not less than her attack.
It's risky. It's a lot of damage, but yeah, I have the life advantage, so I may just want to push that. So I need to try for the counter stun first. So right now I need 2 more. So the way that we're going to attempt to do that, I'm going to flip up a Rook control, which is not unique. I may activate it to move a hidden character I control to my visible area. If I do, I can move visible character I control to my hidden area. Pardon me, I must. I'm going to exhaust both of these locations purely to give myself 2 attack. That will give me enough. I'm going to currently not reinforce, so I'm going to take some damage from that.
Damage is 0.
That is peculiar.
We're done.
Fair enough. I don't have a 5-drop for what it's worth,
Doesn't
but
matter.
it might not matter. Because I'm going to hit you for another 6.
Neither do I.
Oh my word.
So, I've
That
never
was a
seen
bad
this
draw.
deck do this before.
Not get anything?
Well, I only drew Avengers. Usually, I'm struggling to get an Avenger into play.
Huh.
It's not entirely true. I do have... So I got Beast, who you saw, Thor, Captain America, and the other Captain America. Last turn, I did draw a Thunderbolt. That was Beetle. I also have 8-drop Thor. The other guy I have is the 4-drop Thor with Dual Loyalty. Dual Loyalty. Dual Loyalty. Dual Loyalty.
That was pretty great.
Team-ups which are not relevant.
Yep.
And Thunderbolt stamped plot twists. What a terrible
That
draw.
was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. I mean, it's still a little intimidating because some of your stuff is big.
Nothing I've recruited.
Well, it's in. So the thing I did actually have a knight armor that I should have recruited.
That
on
was
that
bad.
But yeah, that was not a great game. The one thing I
You
will
want to do
add,
it again? That was like 10 minutes.
Do you want to? I mean, it is 9:30. We could do that exact matchup again if you'd like. That's fine with me. We could do different decks. What's your preference? You want to give them another crack?
I mean, I don't feel like that was much. Like, if a game's 10 minutes, you play it again.
Oh, all right, I'm down. And I will say this: my deck, this Checkmate deck is kind of a rushdown deck. So ideally, I kill you on 6 because I don't go any past that. So that game it would have succeeded because you drew awfully.
Yeah.
And my draw was.
I could have stopped you if I had a Thunderbolt.
Yeah. No, I mean, my draw was good. It was not very good or great, but it was a good draw.
Silly, silly draw.
It was kind of silly. You got Beast, though.
Yay!
Ian was excited he got Beast.
I already had the team up. I
man.
literally played him to get the team up out of my deck.
Right. That's hilarious and kind of poignant. I'll give this one more here. I want to make sure I don't have the sort of sequelitis on that draw. It becomes dreadful.
All right, why don't you roll that off?
All right, yeah, it all went wrong right from the get-go. I'm going to pick something this time. I pulled an Ian. I'm going to go the inside die. I did lose. You may have dibs again. You still want odds?
Yeah, we're going to do evens. Odds. Yeah, you're right. We're going to do odds.
All right, then. All right, I'm going to keep. We'll see where this goes. Interesting.
When beast comes into play, you may discard, etc.
Yep. Any discarding?
No.
Well, since it worked well for me last time, I'm also not going to play a one drop this
Then
time.
beast will hit you for 2.
Man, I'm already behind, just like last game.
This might go the other way.
Well, that's would be a change from the last time.
What? Don't do that.
That's nifty. Alright, it's my initiative. I'm going to recruit Sarge Steele. If a character protected by Sarge Steele would become stunned instead, you may stun Sarge Steele.
You did it!
You made it.
Yay!
Sarge Steele has a boost I am not paying, but I am going to give him a Knight Armor, which costs 1 less to recruit while I control a Checkmate character. Gives him +2 defense, and if he's attacking, an additional +2 defense.
That is so much defense.
That's a lot of defense.
For a free equipment, jeebus.
It's real. Knight Armor is really good. Knight Armor is cool.
I will be recruiting Eric Jostin, Atlas.
Oh boy.
At the start of my recruit step, put a 1/1 counter on Eric Jostin.
It's legit.
If I control 4 or more resources, put an additional 1/1 counter on him.
Quite legit.
And I'm going to reveal that I have Stormfront 1. When you flip Stormfront Run, choose 2 affiliations.
Stormfront Run.
Choose 2
I apologize for people whose ears were just hurt by that clap, but I was laughing and...
If you chose Thunderbolts in a different affiliation, draw a card. It's a team up. It's a team up with a draw ability.
Oh my god. Pretty amazing. Well, I'm going to attack...
I'll reinforce it.
Yeah. It's a good play. It's a good play.
You got a 49, not 25 or whatever. I also have New Identity. Choose a Thunderbolts character you control at the start of the recovery phase. Put a 1/1 counter on the chosen character.
Oh, that's spicy. That's always brutal, that combo. Why? Why?
Interesting.
That's brutal. Here's your initiative. I hate Justin so much.
He hates you too.
It's actually not true. I hate Justin and New Identity. That's the thing that I hate. Justin is tough, but Justin plus New Identity is real rough.
What do I do here? I think I equip a viewing on Justin, and I recruit over. Viewing's power is characters I control at flight and while ready get +1 attack, and I can discard the viewing to do something. And Ogre's power is activate target attacker you control gets +1/+1 of this attack, and if I control 4 or more resources, instead it gets a counter.
God, you're going whole hog on Justin there. Man, that's going to be real rough for this deck too.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep over.
Well,
It was an underdrop.
I'm going to flip up the Checkmate Armory here, which says I can activate pay a resource point to search for an equipment card, reveal it, put it in my hand, and shuffle my deck. I can also recruit Graziella Reza for 3 resource points. She is, of course, I can exhaust the location to give her +2 attack, but instead I'm going to exhaust the location and put a tricked out sports car on her,
Jesus.
which gives her +2/+1, making her natively a 7/6. And it's Sarge Steele a 4/6.
She boosts him. He's a knight.
No. All equipped characters get +1 attack.
Oh. 4, 6, 7, 6. +1. No, they get +1 attack.
Correct. What did I say? They get +1 attack.
Well, you're doing the math wrong on Sarge Steele then. He's 5 defense.
You're right about that. You're correct. You are correct. Correct. So he is a 4/5, but he is a 4/7 when attacking.
Yes.
I averaged that.
I'm going to team attack him, and I'm going to boost Justin by 1.
Oh, interesting.
That's the way to go.
Sure, that's pretty solid. What's your attack? 6? 7.
7.
And my defense is 5, so you got that pretty soundly beat. Yeah, I mean, I guess they deal the damage to Beast. And then I will take 2. There we go, I can math. I'm then going to flip up Brother Eye, which I can activate to give target attacker I control plus X attack, where X is the number of locations I control. And I'm going to attack Ogre for 9.
Jesus. I will take 8.
I got one really fast because Justin is going to overpower me.
Oh man, so much whining.
Well, I'm playing a rushdown deck, and you're playing a character that's going to outpace me in 3 turns. So I got to win in 3 turns. I'm not whining. I'm just telling you what I got to do. That's interesting. Right. What do I do with this? That's interesting. It is my initiative. We're gonna recruit. Should put down a resource too while I'm at it. I'm gonna put down this resource. Then I am going to interesting choice. I'm going to recruit Ahmed Samsara and an aspiring pawn. Ahmed Samsara has, when he's put in the KO pile from play, I lose the game. He also has Activate. KO a resource you control. If you do, search your deck for a location card, reveal it, put it face down into your resource row, and shuffle your deck.
I don't think you used to field him. Is he a new addition?
He is relatively new. The Aspiring Pawn, we're familiar with. He's an army character. Whenever he causes breakthrough while attacking a player directly, he gets a 1/1 counter, loses the version army, and gains the
I'm not
version.
familiar with it. You haven't recruited an aspiring pawn lately.
I recruit him all the time. All the time. All the time.
How do I do it? Well, I'm going to recruit Cobalt Man.
Oh god, your setup is so strong.
I don't know how I'm going to deal with this, though. It's going to be tricky.
How does Ogre work again?
Now I can activate him to put a 1/1 counter on any attacker. I might have to just eat the damage. That's depressing. Cobalt Man has loyalty, and I may only recruit him if I control an Avengers character. He has invulnerability while attacking, and his stats are really big.
So, V-Wing
His
does...
attack is really big.
Right. What does V-Wing do again?
V-Wing gives my characters flight and +1 attack while ready.
Sure wish that weren't true. How do I give you the most headaches here? Well, I don't like it. Sarge Steele is going to attack Eric Jostin. I'm going to flip up a Rook control, which, as you might recall, allows me to switch characters hidden invisible, but more importantly, it's another location, so I can now give him +3 attack against Eric Jostin.
Right.
So, my defense is 7. My attack is 7. Is that right? Yes. No. Yes. Yes, it is. +1 attack from this, +3 from this is +4 attack, and this gives 4 defense. And I'm going to power up once.
Oh, Christ. Why? I don't know why you're whining. You are so
I have 1 card.
so far ahead of me this game. I don't even get the counters done there. I think I take 2 breakthrough.
I believe that is correct. My attack was 8, your defense was 6, that's correct.
Well, I attack Sarge Steele.
Yep.
I give Iron Man a counter.
Yep. That's gonna work. So your attack is
12.
12. That's a real big attack. And your defense is 8, which is a real big defense. So that will work. I'm going to take, let's see here. Reza's attack right now is 7. It's not enough to get him anymore. I don't like that. Okay, that is going to work. 12, my defense was 5. So it takes 7 breakthrough defense, then I take 9 from
Are you sure these guys are still AA?
that. Yeah, I mean, if you can...
Really powerful.
They're being pretty good at the moment, I admit it.
Like, I'm coming at you with everything this deck has, this AA deck. And you're
Well-
winning the life game and the character game.
Again, my deck stops in 1 turn.
Does that matter?
If you're not dead, it's going to matter a lot. So I have to decide if I get
If you can
greedy.
beat every AA in 5 turns.
Well, sure.
like,
Sure. That's reasonable. I haven't beat that yet. I mean, it was a 10-minute game, but that you had a bad draw in the first game. So your defense is 8. I think I attack with just Griziella, and I pump her 1 to match your defense. Take 3. I assume you pass.
mhm.
I'll attack Ogre for 6. I don't have any tricks, so I'm just going to attack you for 1 more, given the chance. Goodbye, Sarge Steele. Wow, his power never came into play. That's interesting. I even read it so well. Is it this turn he starts getting bigger?
Mhm.
Oy. That's interesting. So you are a 9 9, 10, 9 when ready. And it is your initiative?
Yeah, I guess. Recruit Beetle. Drop again. What is wrong with my draws tonight? He gets +4/+4 next turn.
Right. Guess I'm gonna equip? No, I'm not gonna equip. I'm gonna recruit Roy Harper. Arsenal. He says I may exhaust 2 locations I control, 2 to give him 1 attack for the turn. I may activate him and KO a resource I control to stun target attacker with attack less than Roy Harper's attack.
I think I can scoop. I don't know how to deal with that deck. I think you're wrong to think that it's not an S.
Well, you missed 5. That's a big deal.
It wouldn't have been. Your 2-drop is as big as a 5-drop.
Your 2-drop is also as big as a 5-drop, and my 5-drop.
But you also have a 3-drop who's as big as a 4-drop and a 5-drop.
3-drop's as big as a 4-drop. Is that what you said?
I said 5-drop.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
With your location, with your ridiculous location,
it's got the attack bump. It's little red starry.
which you can search for. Yeah, that's an S deck, man. There is no way that's a double A.
Funny. The deck has received almost no changes. I've been playing it in double A for years. The only change I think was I had to pull out one thing and replace it with Ahmed for to make the other Checkmate deck. I pulled out the other 3-drop. It's identical. It has not changed in years.
If you hit those equipment, there's just nothing you can do. Is that what it is? It's a searching for the, but you can search with the location.
It does cost resource points to do it. Actual resource points. It's pretty expensive. I drew the equipment that time. Both the games we played tonight.
Easy.
No, it was always designed as like super psycho, front-loaded beatdown, and then if I don't beat you by 6, you're just gonna win because you escalate past.
Yeah, like I don't remember ever having trouble with that deck, so I assumed you rebalanced it or something.
It was very slightly touched. It's less than. I don't even think it's 10% difference. Like 5% different, maybe. Let me see if there's anything else I changed besides Ahmed.
Did you change the balance of equipment or the balance of the other cards or anything?
I don't think so. Might be one different plot twist, which actually didn't see play, and then
that deck crushed it.
that was crazy. Well, to be fair, I did go up against the same deck twice in a row, so it wasn't like 2 completely distinct matches. And you did also, I mean, again.
Well, this deck is designed to have big, unmanageable characters, and you just outpaced it.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what any other deck is going to do better versus that deck.
I don't know.
It was weird.
I don't know what to tell you.
Weird game.
It was strange, and it did a very similar. Yeah. So I think there's one plot twist that's different, and
4
that
defense
character.
is stupid.
The knight armor is pretty nuts. Though again, only while attacking does it get up to 4. But it's a nutty equipment.
What's next? Terrible start. Awful, evil, bad deck.
Well, on the plus side, we get a little insult. Take your pick. This deck that you have selected is an A deck. I am sorry that was not more interesting. It's funny. I built that deck, the Checkmate deck, with the intention of it doing what it did those 2 games, and it almost never does it. And I didn't actually use him. I used him for the stats. He's got good stats.
Well, he's location fixed too, which is good.
That is really potent. And I was going to use it, but I had enough board momentum that instead of using it, it's just like, I'll use him for the damage because that is better when I have board momentum. But yeah, that wasn't
shouldn't have
really
ridiculous stats too.
Well,
he has a really good power.
He's one of the characters that if I lose him, I lose the game, which is why they.
That's not a balance, though. They have cards that prevent that.
They have one, and I didn't draw it in that game at all. Nor did I drew one.
And he's concealed too. So
he is concealed, which is a dick move. Yeah,
that's fair.
He's concealed.
Also mitigates that some.
It does a bit. Yeah, they could have made him like. I do get why they gave increased stats to the if they leave play, you lose the game.
It's a cool.
But
It's
to
a
have
cool
them also
theme,
be concealed.
But when you pair them with other themes, they just make those other themes like super like the
Yeah.
they did the thing where they're like, oh, we have this cool. We talk about this a lot. We have this cool power idea.
Right.
It's going to be this class of character that's better than average stats,
But
and
as soon as one is gone,
yeah, you
game
lose
over.
the game.
Yep.
And then they go, all right, well, how can we mitigate the drawbacks? What if there were a bunch of cards that just prevent that from happening?
Yep.
And then it's like, you didn't really make a card with drawbacks then.
Yeah, it is weird. They it's fascinating. I mean, it's funny because Checkmate lives on the edge more than a team up deck in a sense, because a team up deck needs one of usually like 6 team ups or 8 team ups to function, and I got 4 of those plot twists. So if I don't get them, and granted, you're correct to assess that he's concealed. It's a plot twist, not a location.
Oh,
so
sure.
I have 4 cards in that deck, and if I do not draw those 4 cards, one copy of it, and there's no way to search for them, so I actually have to draw for them. Then I'm at risk, and I do think they should have made the.
You need to roll before you look.
Oh, that's true. I did. I will go on the inner die.
Aw. These need to
and
go
one.
away, and they're both very useful, and all 4 of them are also very useful.
I'm gonna go evens with this deck. Oh,
What? Boy, I am not having a night for draws.
I am gonna mulligan. I don't know how I feel about any of this.
That's goofy. Oh, man.
I went even, so it is your initiative.
I will not be recruiting anyone at this time.
Nor I. Nor I. Not good, huh?
I don't even understand.
And Ian became a broken
What's
man.
going on? Like, seriously. We did this crap last week. It was stupid. Let's not keep doing it.
I do have a 2-drop. This is Hannibal King. I may activate him, and when target character is put in a cowed pile during the combat phase this turn, the controller of that character loses 5 endurance.
Oh, that's disappointing. I've got Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon.
Boy, I hope you can't KO her. You probably can.
Oh,
As additional cost to recruit Barbara Gordon, I have to reveal another Gotham Knights character card from my hand. I will reveal that I have Batman.
Which Batman drop was that?
This Batman.
No, the big Batman.
I can pay 1 resource point to draw a card. I may use that power only once a turn, and I may activate her to draw a card, and I may use that power only during the recovery phase.
Well, you know, this game could become a disaster for me, but it'll have a good turn too. I think I am going to attack Babua. I'm also going to flip up the Punisher's Armory. I can pay 3 endurance to ready Punisher's Armory. I'm also activate it to give my an attacking character 1 attack.
Okay.
So I'll do that. So I'm at 3/2.
Gotham Knights characters in my support row get +1 attack and have range.
So I will be counter stunned.
Exhaust a Gotham Knights character you control to gain 1 endurance. I'll take 2. I guess it's still 2.
And I will take 2 as well. I do have a KO card. But it's a costly one.
I'm conceding this game as well.
Oh my god! Makes you feel better. I have no characters in my hand.
I have no characters in my hand either.
Oh my god! Whoa!
I have Batman in my hand, but
What's that?
I have Batman in my hand.
Oh, yeah, it's fair to say. Yeah, I had to discard my 6-drop. Let's see if I would have top decked a character that I could play. I would have gotten another 2-drop. Your draw was not a good draw. My draw
I'm
was...
up to like 5 bad draws.
What's going on? Oh, well, that was less than 10 minutes. We can just take a stab at it again and give it a good shuffle.
This is not a very good matchup.
We can switch it up. I can pick a different deck. You can pick a different deck. Here a deck, there a deck.
I guess I ought to play it. That's how it goes.
Well, I am beholden to no such fate. I will happily select another A deck.
No, it's fine. It's fine. If I get a decent draw, it can be annoying at least.
It's fair. Yeah, that was... I can't believe you didn't have another character also, because I'm looking at my hand like, well, I can KO your 1 character and then hit you with Hannibal King for the next 5 turns and nothing else. but you also had nothing.
Well, I mean, it's very important that I have bunches of characters in this deck. I can't start with.
You sure you want to do this matchup?
I can't start with 6 cards that are nothing.
That's
Right.
true. You
Which is actually
Yeah.
was actually 10 cards
real
that were
bad.
nothing.
It was real bad. It was a real bad start for sure. All right, really good shuffle. On the plus side, we're getting in a lot of games tonight.
I guess.
Yeah, let's hope some of them are better. All right. We'll cut you some good cards this time, Ian, instead of all the crap cards I've been cutting you.
We'll see. I'll be the judge of that. That was a turn 2 scoop. Those are rare.
Those are. I mean, no characters in your hand is pretty severe. Coupled with, I mean, you didn't at the time. You didn't know I had. You know, I'm actually going to keep this stupid hand, I think. But I'm going to also roll this for outer. Is outer. What did I go? Evens. I'm going to keep going evens.
All right. This time, I'll recruit a GCPD officer.
Better start.
While the GCPD officer is exhausted, it has reinforcement.
I'm going to not recruit a character.
And I'll take you for one.
No, you saw through my defensive strategies. There are parts of this draw which are appealing. There are also parts of it which are less appealing. It is now my initiative. I don't need characters to beat you.
Okay.
Worked
In that
out well for you.
case, I will recruit a GCPD officer
Yeah, I'm with you so far.
and the twin firearms. When an equipped character is in the front row, it gets +4 attack. When it's in the support row, it gets +2 attack and has range.
I'm going to pass.
I'm going to reveal that I have Gotham Central. Gothamized characters in my support row get +1 attack and have range. I'm going to attack you for 7.
Wow, that's a thing. 42. Thank you, dear. What?
What?
Things Ian won't see coming. Strange. Alright. That's the way. It is actually your initiative.
Oh.
That one was mine.
I'm going to recruit a GCPD officer.
Oh my. Right, okay.
That's it.
Alright, well, that's, you know, you've got a lot of them. I guess I'm going to recruit the Black Panther. So read Twin Firearms again. It's +4 attack while you're in the front row, is that it?
And +2 in range while you're in the back row.
It's just +4 attack at all times.
No, +4 while you're in the front row. Or +2
Sorry.
in range.
But you don't have to be attacking. It's like the stat bonuses at all times.
Yes.
So it is actually better than Knight Armor. I guess it costs a resource point. Does it actually
Well,
cost?
attack is way easier to come by than defense.
I suppose that's
It's not
true.
better than- And it does cost a resource point.
That's fair. The resource point is, I think, the big distinguisher here. So I'm going to recruit Black Panther.
There's 4 defense for free shenanigans.
2 defense for free. 2 while I'm attacking.
Which is 4. 2 and 2 is 4.
While attacking. When Black Panther comes into play, search your deck for an equipment card with cost 1 or less, equip it to him, and shuffle your deck. I'm going to search for... a War Wagon and put it on him. War Wagon costs, well, whatever, equips to him for free, and it gives him the ability to activate the KO stuff that is stunned. That's also the pinging one.
I was thinking is an odd choice, but I bet you don't really have like offensive equipment in that deck. It's probably all the War Wagon.
It's mostly KO oriented.
It's like you're not going to get to use it.
This is not Checkmate.
I might get Cal to scoop here. I have GCPD HQ.
That was what I thought you would have.
Whenever 3 or more Gotham Knights characters, team attackers you control, stun and... Let me read this. Whenever 3 or more Gotham Knights team attackers you control stun a defender, KO that defender, and activate target Gotham Knights defender with a cost of 3 or less as reinforcement this attack. I will take you for
Plenty.
9.
So I am stunned and KO'd and take 3.
I assume you will stun one of my guys.
Yeah, I'll stun one of them. I'll stun the cost 1 one.
Okay.
Took 3. Was I in the 40s? I think I was in the 40s. So I was 42. So now I'm 39. Well, that's pretty bad for me. Let's see if I can swing this around. That's pretty bad.
Swing it around.
This draw is also pretty bad. Gotta play it that way. I am going to recruit Luke Cage into my concealed area. Luke Cage has pay 3 endurance. Luke Cage can attack hidden characters this turn. He also has, whenever a character an opponent controls is put in a KO pile during the combat phase, I may draw a card.
What is quick kill? 4 or less? I gotta do it anyway. I've got Batman. Whenever Batman stuns a defender, its controller loses additional endurance equal to its cost. I have a feeling I'll be losing Batman.
Additional endurance.
It's certainly a possibility.
Cost. Whenever he stuns on attack or defense?
A defender. He must be attacking.
Right. Well, you have a choice about what I can do here. I don't love any version of it. I sure wish that you had not stunned and KO'd my 3-drop.
I had to stun and KO someone.
That's very true. That's pretty potent.
You could have recruited a different character, I suppose.
I guess so. Gotta think about this. How do I dig myself out of this ungodly hole?
It's gonna be hard. I'm in a pretty good position.
Yeah. Well.
Makes you feel any better? I don't have a lot more recruiting coming.
No,
It doesn't change the equation a ton.
I'm going to take a lot of damage. It's going to be a hole to dig out of you. I'm going to pay the 3 and hit Batman.
Okay.
I do also have Punisher's Armory, so I'm going to give myself +1 attack.
Okay, so your attack is 9. Your defense is 7, so we will be stunned.
Correct.
I will take 2 breakthrough. And I do have a Wayne Manor, so I will exhaust him to gain 1 endurance. So I will take 5.
Right down. And I will take 4. I'm going to attempt to KO him. I do have a quick kill, which is requires me to discard Marvel Knight's character card. Unless I discard 2 character cards, which I choose not to do. And I will attempt to KO Batman.
Can't stop it.
No additional effects, though, because Luke Cage is stunned.
And then I will hit you for 9.
Yeah. That's a good one. Turn 5, or as I like to call it, Ian's initiative.
My initiative. Yay.
Yay! I have one hope. We will see if it works.
Going to recruit Dana Laurel Lance, the Black Canary,
Yeah.
and a Batplane.
Batplane.
Dana Laurel Lance's power is I may activate her to exhaust target unprotected character. I may only do that during my attack step.
Oh, that's going to be so important this turn.
Sure is.
God dang it.
And
You're
Batplane
a
says
bad man.
Gotham Knight's characters I control in flight, and I can KO it to return target character I control to owner's hand.
Right. That's pretty important. You can KO it to do that. Okay. I am going to recruit...
I had it last turn. I should have recruited it to save Batman.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, well. I didn't think of it at the time.
It gives me a chance. So it makes it interesting. I'm going to recruit Blade. As an additional cost recruit, I must reveal a Marvel Knight's character card from my hand. I will reveal Elektra. He also gets +1/+1 while equipped. And I'm going to recruit Elektra.
Yup.
Check one thing here. Yeah, okay. I am formed.
Yeah. I guess I still play for the KO. I guess.
There are worse options. This turn is the reason I didn't concede, because it allowed me to put 2 characters into play.
I guess that I also exhaust Luke Cage and then go for the KO this way.
Of course.
Is that the way I do this? I think I team attack Blade.
With those 2.
Yeah.
Interesting. I can see some reason for that. I will deal the damage to the one behind this guy.
Whoa. I'll take 1. That was unforeseen.
Is that right? Yeah, I think that is right.
Interesting.
So I will take 2. I'm gambling with my health here, but I have to do it. I'm going to attack the Batplane for 6. I'm where you reinforced.
Okay. I'll take 1. I see what you're doing. Do I see what you're doing? I don't know what you're up to.
Well, unless you have a trick, I'm going to take a bunch of damage, but I will not lose a character.
That's true. I see. I'm not gonna lose the bat plane, but I'm gonna KO it to return the other guy to my hand.
Sure. That is still a victory.
And I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna take 1 from that as well, which I did not do.
That is true. That is true. All right.
I may not have taken my 1 from the previous attack either. That kind of feels like I didn't.
I'll accept. I've been chipping away in a very finite form, I suppose you could say. That's interesting. That is interesting. I think I need to do that this turn, and that is interesting.
Oh, this is a weird draw.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's real interesting. I'm gonna recruit.
There's a lot of interesting on your side of the table.
I have a choice. It's probably that. I should also put down a resource. We'll do that as well.
Doesn't hurt. I mean, you don't have to.
I don't have to. I'll recruit Spider-Man. Spider-Man exhausts your team. I can activate him to exhaust your team.
That's unfortunate. So what do I do about
Apologize. I will also put a war wagon on Blade. That costs 1 less to recruit. It's the pinging shenanigans.
So I can change my resource then. That sucks.
I may only use that power by during my attack step.
Right. Well, it's going to be your attack step momentarily.
It sure will.
I'm going to recruit 2 GCPD officers and a GCPD SWAT. Or Gotham Central SWAT. You know the GCPD officers. Gotham Central SWAT's powers activate. Target character in my support row gets +2 attack and has reinforcement this attack.
Yep. So how dost thou form?
Boy, I sure wish I had. What's the guy's name? Bullock.
Gordon.
Harvey Bullock.
Oh, Bullock's good too.
That's it. I'm formed.
That's the form.
That is a form.
Alright, now I gotta think about this a little. Probably not much. I think I gotta use Spider-Man. funny. He's always a great threat, but I very rarely exhaust him. But against a deck that's perma-reinforced, that is more useful. And that's silly. So... yeah, I'm going to do it.
Oh, my team is exhausted.
Yeah.
And mostly reinforced.
Also true. Okay, so you also are +1 attack in your support row?
Correct.
Everywhere? Okay. Alright, so I think the way I do this is I attack the GCPD in the front with... Oh man, it's so bad. So, let's just review. I can make 3 attacks, which will, on paper, make you lose 2 characters. Or, I can make 2 attacks and make you lose an important character.
And a card.
I would draw a card. You do not discard.
Who's Luke Cage's power?
Luke Cage's is the I draw. Hell's Kitchen is the you discard. And both of those are very appealing options. A lot of your characters don't have a ton of attack. I guess they're all 2s, which isn't bad. I think
Dinah's a 6. This guy's a 5.
Dinah's a 6 attack?
No, she's a 5.
Okay. Okay, I'm with you now. Yeah, alright, well. I'm going to attack your twin firearms, jerk.
Okay. I will take 1.
And you take 3.
Oh, wait. I think I could have exhausted all those dudes for 6 life.
Yeah, let's say you did.
I can.
Do it.
So I will just gain 5 from
Sure,
this.
sure. I accept. I'll take 3. I'm 13. Boy, I got to dig myself out
I
of
thought
that.
I could do something with my dudes, and then I couldn't figure it out. I am tired.
I am then going to attack Dinah.
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 I will reinforce her with GCPD HQ and take 3.
So now
I'm going to lose Dinah.
it's a tough choice. The other guy has more attack. How does this one work again?
I may activate him, and target support row character gets +2 attack and has reinforcement of this attack.
Currently 1-3. I could just attack him and force you to lose 2 sort of useful characters. That's interesting. But I could also draw a card, which is also interesting. Man, I'm gonna come back from so much health.
It's a lot of health.
It's a lot of health. Oh. I've only got 13 of it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna attack your dude.
This guy?
I am a 4/3 because he gets +1/+1 wild.
So it's 1 breakthrough. I guess I accept that.
Not much.
I will take 3.
I think that's weird. I think that's the better play, and then you got to pick between Dinah and the GCPD guy.
I think I keep Dinah.
She's real good. It's gonna be pretty
These
useful.
guys, which is the gun. I lose the gun. The gun is the important part.
Well, there's a lot of important parts.
You're an important part
Thank you.
of this stream.
I like to think of myself as an important part of this stream.
Oh, no, couldn't do that thing either.
Oh my word. I had not contemplated that.
Yay, initiative. That'll help.
That's really weird.
So I'm going to recruit a Gotham Central SWAT and Batman. None of these characters are new.
Right on. Oh, Batman. Batman's a big deal right now.
He is a big deal.
Oh man. This is so nuts. What do I do? Man, I don't know what to do. I have to not die this turn. If I cannot die this turn, maybe I can win this turn. No, that's not true. I can't win this turn. That's stupid. But I might be able
Win
to
this
turn
turn?
the tide.
That would be impressive.
I have a card, and it's a common card. I play it many games. I read it many games, but it is circumstantially very, very useful. So I'm probably going to play it. The question is, what else do I play? Okay, so Dinah can exhaust someone.
True.
An unprotected character.
Unprotected, you're correct. It's important.
Batman deals double stun. You want to double stun Spider-Man. That is what you
wouldn't
want
hurt.
to do.
I would like to, yeah. Can I do that? You should recruit a 7-drop. I'll double stun him. How about that?
Right.
I'll make you a deal. If you recruit a 7-drop, I will double stun him.
I appreciate that. So weird, but it might be right. If this whole various combo thing works, it's going to be pretty crazy and amazing. I don't even know what will happen. But I'm going to start by playing Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. She has pay 1 endurance. Characters you control can attack hidden characters this turn.
Okay.
She also has a boost 1. Whenever a character an opponent controls becomes stunned this turn, it cannot ready this turn.
Okay.
And I am formed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll see if I can do the cool, crazy thing. I might not be able to. It is possible that you will foil my fun. But if you can't, it will be novel.
Well, I'm going to exhaust Luke Cage,
Sure. Because you're a jerk.
and I'm going to attack Blade.
You're a jerk. So your attack is 7. If I were to take that, I would take 6. I would take 8.
My attack is 8.
Your attack is 8. My defense is 3. So I would take 5 breakthrough. So I am going to reinforce.
That is something I did not foresee.
And I will take 2.
You will take 4.
I will take 4. 9. We're really good at math. Okay. Now I have to decide if I do the stupid thing that is also crazy but amusing. It's great. It's great. I'm going to play Swan Dive. Swan Dive says play only during your attack step. Stun a Marvel Knights character you control. I will choose Spider-Man. Putting in 3. Stun any number of target characters your opponents control if their combined cost is less than the Marvel Knights character you stunned this way. I will stun all your ready characters.
Okay, okay. I will exhaust all of them
To gain
for
life.
life,
Yeah,
which
sure,
means I only
sure.
take 1 from this.
It's true. But none of them can ready this turn.
Well, it doesn't matter. Most of them aren't going to recover this turn.
That's also true. It's a little sad because I can't attack.
Her
with-
boost is characters can't ready this turn?
Yep.
That's really good.
It usually doesn't matter. It's on turn 7.
I guess, yeah.
So that happened.
It's like unqualified, man.
And then I'm gonna. I have to attack her with the big one because I can't afford to be stunned. So I will.
Reinforce it.
Of course.
So I will take 3.
She may also not ready this turn.
That's true.
And then I'm going to attack you for 7.
Pretty absurd.
And now it's my initiative.
Um.
Of course, we'll lose Blade. Goodbye, Blade, and your awesome equipment.
I might just keep a GCPD officer.
I am now at 3. That's also absurd. It is my initiative, so I'm going to put down a card there. I'm going to set that off to the side because it is no longer pertinent. Okay, I just need to get 20 more here. And by that I mean 30. And also not take 3 in the process. Batman was not stunned, so he may ready. It's
Oh, they have to
only
be
characters that become
stunned.
stunned.
Oh, that's going to help a lot.
It will. I wish it wouldn't. I think the right thing... I think I recruit Lady Punisher. Lady Punisher says at the start of the recovery phase you may
That's
KO
brave. What are you
target
doing?
stunned character. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
You have given me a way to kill you, where previously there was none.
That's the claim. Sorry. That is a formation that I should.
Ah, okay. Better. This is a stupid game.
Yep.
I have a GCPD officer in Dynalora Lands.
So you do. So you do have. Right. I'm going to exhaust your team.
Thought you might. Going to exhaust them first for life.
I sure wish you would stop doing that.
I'll stop if you stop.
Touche. And then... So all your dudes in the support row are +1 attack?
Yes.
Okay. Not your front row.
Correct.
What are the odds of you getting attack on defense?
Slim.
None, but slim. I think I just have to play it as close to death as I can, because I'm dead if I don't. And I am also dead if I do. So, Lady Punisher is going to attack your GCPD in the back, actually, for a 7.
Take 1. Pass.
Electra will attack GCPD in the front.
I'll take 1. Pass.
Luke Cage will attack Dynalore Lance.
I will take 3. Pass.
I'm going to pay 1 endurance. And use Natasha Romanoff's power. Characters you control can attack hidden characters this turn, and I'm going to attack Batman.
Natasha has that power as well?
Pay 1 endurance. I hope I read it. I'd feel silly if I didn't. If we watch the stream later and I didn't.
Well, I don't know. I was just
Yeah,
I was surprised she has a good boost power and
Yeah,
she has all kinds of power.
She's
crazy.
really interesting.
What's going
She's a
on
cool
over
character. Very low defense for a 6-drop, but she trades it for some good stuff.
there? Okay, you're gonna quick kill Batman. That'd be fun.
I'm gonna do it with Punisher.
Oh yeah. So your attack is 14.
Correct.
I will take 11 from that.
That's all my dudes. I do target, and Dinah is stunned. Correct.
You didn't attack her.
I thought I attacked her with.
Oh, you did attack her. You were correct.
So I don't get to trigger the special KO powers, but her targets. I'll make sure that I can do it. Yes. At the start of the recovery phase, KO targets stunned character. I choose Batman.
I'll be sad if I lose this. Looks like I'm gonna.
There's a chance. There's a decent chance. I'm inching up. It's been very hairy.
That's right.
Got a lot of firepower, but you also have exhaust and.
Oh, you got me. How about we play some reasonable cards tonight, buddy?
Silly. I think that was a good game.
That was not a very good game.
You didn't
Why
think
was
it-
it? Well, I didn't get to do anything.
You did stuff the whole. You got me down to 3 life, 2 life.
I was able to get you to 2 life because you didn't recruit anything for 3 turns. I didn't, and then that was
That's not true.
that was
I
the kind of game you don't like. It was a stasis game. You had my characters exhausted for the last 3.
For the
turns.
last 3 turns, yes. Yeah. Well, two of the last 3, because you exhausted Spider-Man, didn't you? Or no, you attacked Spider-Man. What happened on the previous turn? Oh, because he
You had me
wasn't.
exhausted for 3 turns.
That can't
You
be
used
true.
Spider-Man twice.
Yeah,
Um,
but then you had initiative on the other one. There's no way you would have let
And-
me have Spider-Man.
and you used Spider-Man, and you prevented me from readying one of the turns.
Right, that's true. That is fair. So you were totally locked down on 2 of the turns.
3.
3?
You used Spider-Man twice,
That's twice.
and you had my team exhausted from your boost. That's 3 turns.
You're overlapping 2 of the turns.
No, you didn't use Spider-Man the turn you had my team exhausted.
But they're exhausted the next turn. I use that, and then the subsequent turn, like you don't get to ready.
You used Spider-Man. Then there was a turn when I got to act, but you prevented me from readying. Then you used Spider-Man.
But if I prevent you from readying, the effect doesn't happen until the subsequent turn because your characters aren't ready. I did stun all your dudes. I did stun all
You
your
didn't. Okay, I will clarify.
Yes.
You didn't have me exhausted for 3 subsequent turns. You had me exhausted for 3 turns. There was 1 turn in between where I got to act a little bit.
You had to, yeah, all right. I'm confused. You've confused me. Like when I make you not ready, then it affects the following turn. doesn't
Right.
it? Yeah. So that was turns 6 and 8, and on 7 you got to do your full turn. Except that I did the Spider-Man. Like I played a plot twist, but it wasn't quite stasis.
But you
That
used
was-
Spider-Man. Like you didn't use Spider-Man the turn you exhausted my team.
Turn 6, I used Spider-Man to exhaust your team. Turn 7, I played a boost, which said, if your characters become stunned this turn, then the next turn they will not be ready.
Okay. I'm straightened out.
However, I did play a crazy plot twist that I have used in a million games and never in that way to stun a bunch of your team, which was kind of obnoxious. But that has never mattered meaningfully until that particular moment.
You got time for one more?
Sure, absolutely. The last deck is S.
Oh, S tier.
S tier often works in your favor, so...
That's not true. Not since you
Well, it
banned.
makes me
not,
salty.
not since you banned all of the decks that are good.
Well, aren't they back in rotation somewhat?
No.
Which ones do we have left in there from Total Sort? You don't have to include me in order.
From the original set, only the big dudes. You made me remove the rest.
Fair enough. We can probably... I think it was not my intention to permanently remove them when they were a minority play.
Well, even when they were
So-
minority play, you were bitching about them constantly. So.
Well, that is to say, now that you have 5 other S decks, them being in rotation is less of a reason for me to grumble.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily want to play the outsiders.
Well, yeah,
I
outsiders
get
are
a
not...
lot of kicks out of playing the one. So.
That's fair. That's fair. Ignore the battling cats in the other room. They do that sometimes. Hey, stop that. Stop it. You cards stay upright. Alrighty. S tier. We will do the inner die, which lost.
These guys go, I think, odds. Is that right? I was rethinking that. Wait a minute.
What deck are you
These are the
using?
wrong guys.
I did mulligan.
Yeah, odds is fine. Sorry, I need to reshuffle because
No,
I
no worries.
actually grabbed the wrong deck.
No worries. I'll even do a fresh cut. There we go. Easy mulligan.
Sign of things to come. Sign of things that have been.
You did go odds.
I will not be recruiting a one drop.
The dice highly suspect. I will also not be recruiting a one. It is now my initiative. I'm not going to recruit a two drop.
Interesting.
It's actually extremely interesting, a point which you will find more relevant in a bit.
In which case, I'll recruit Lois Lane. I can discard 2 cards rather than pay her recruit cost. When she comes into play, I may search my deck for an Earth 2 character card or a card named Superman, reveal it, put it into my hand, and shuffle my deck. I will be getting Superman red.
He's good. Good card. Which dice do you find? The brilliant dice within dice? Casey, is that what you're commenting on? The magical dice within dice?
More importantly, I'm hopefully giving myself a shot at getting those cards that I started with back in my...
Oh, it's one of those. I had a little of that with mine. We'll see. Sorry, I should have put down a resource, which I did not.
Lois Lane will hit you for 1, you know, like with her microphone or something.
Yep. I mean, she's got a mean left hook.
Does she? How do you know?
She uses it every now and again. It's kind of weird.
Speaking of kind of weird.
Yeah, I hear that. I see what you're saying. It is your initiative.
Yep, well, surprisingly, I will be recruiting Superman Red, whose power is I may pay 1 endurance, and character cards named Superman are not unique this turn, also cosmic. While Superman is attacking from the front row, he gets +4 attack.
Huh. Well then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Carlosoffen, Moonstone. Whenever Carlosoffen is stunned, if you control 5 or more resources, recover her at the start of the recovery phase this turn.
Okay. I'll attack her for 8.
Ow. I will take 7. Can I do anything with her? I don't think so. I'll look. Yep, I'll take 7.
I will take 3.
Ah, Lois, you're out of range now. Yeah, Casey, I will say this. You're probably right. However, it seems random enough to us. It's one of the things where we probably have to go back and actually review, I think, to see if there's any error in the internal weighting if certain numbers don't come up, for example. Probably that. Seems the right choice. No, it's not. Yes, it is. This guy's such a jerk. I am gonna play Genisvel Photon. When he enters play, target opponent loses 1 endurance for each face-down resource he controls. I'll attempt to ping you for 3.
I can flip some stuff.
Sure.
Might be able to flip all of it.
Aw. Well, at least I make you do it. Costs you the surprise. You'll have to decide what it's worth to you.
I'm going to play a lookalike squad. Ongoing characters I control named Superman are not unique. Whenever a character I control named Superman becomes stunned, I may KO it. If I do, I may put a character card named Superman with cost lower than the cost of that character into my front row. I'm also going to play Cadmus Labs, which I may activate to make character cards named Superman not unique this turn. I can replace it to give target character named Superman +1/+1 this attack. I'm also going to play Man of Tomorrow. As an additional cost to play Man of Tomorrow, discard a Team Superman character card from your hand. We'll discard Keelex.
Keelex, yes.
Search your deck for a character card named Superman, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck. I'm going to go get Superman Red.
Superman Red. That's a thing you can do. Alright, so the middle one was Search. Cadmus Labs, Supermen are not unique. Once a turn for free. What was the first one again? The one
Also, Supermen are not unique, and I can KO a stunned Superman to put a lesser cost Superman into my front row.
Okay.
Or when he becomes stunned, I can KO him to do that.
Right on. Let me think about my formation for just a second. I've been kind of toying with multiple directions here. Most of your characters are likely to have both flight and range, to my chagrin. It's probably not super. Yeah. We'll try it this way. See what happens.
Activate, remove target Team Superman Defender from this attack, and Superman becomes the defender. This attack.
Right on. Well, that sure do matter. You should also consider a resource this turn. Cool. So, I guess the way I do this is... Odds are good I'm going to wind up attacking Superman. I'm going to attack 3-cost Superman.
I think you should attack 4-cost Superman.
I am going to flip up Trusty Grudge Match. Target attacker is the same cost as a defender. Gets +3/+3 this attack.
Oh, +3/+3 is so much.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Boy, oh boy. I'm going to replace Cadmus Labs to power up.
So you are an 8/8.
Run some math here.
I don't like that.
I will reinforce and take 4. And I will put Superman right into play.
Right. Get there right. Oh, that's right. That's what that card does. That's what that card does.
Superman Red
Doing a lot of damage.
is going to attack your 3-drop.
A little Superman when we're
I'm going to play Solar Powered.
Oh no!
Target attacker named Superman Control gets +2/+2 this attack. If the character has Cosmic, put a Cosmic counter on it.
Well, that's something. Gee golly willikers. So your attack is
10.
It's 10, huh? Your defense is 5. I guess you're getting counter stunned.
Come on. Yeah. What if I power up?
do have a slobber knocker. Target character gets +1 attack this attack. When that character becomes stunned, this attack. If it is in your resource row, you may turn slobber knocker face down at the start of the recovery phase this turn. You'll also deal me a lot of damage because you powered up. So your attack got up to 11?
Yep.
So I'm going to take 10. I'm going to take 10 damage. 10 is the damage that I took. Right. I sure do have to pass.
Okay, press.
Yeah. Boy, that hurts.
Good night, Chris.
Thanks for watching, sticking around with us. So much.
You're in a board position.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. So that does work. And I will take... Your attack was 8?
That was just 8, yep.
I'll take 5. 27. Maybe under 40. I do. Okay. I will use the bigger character. The other one is now going to become a free recovery. Yes. You get my slot on your back. I am going to...
I'm going to wait because it's my initiative.
Fine.
I'm going to
We'll
recruit
play by the
Superman.
rules.
Superman is invulnerability during my first attack and defense each turn.
Alright.
No more initiative stealing you.
Keep me at bay. You got so many attacks that last turn, I felt like I was the one, but I was not. Boy, I'm taking a lot of damage.
Hope so.
I'm going to recruit the Green Goblin. Green Goblin has, at the start of the recruit step, which we've already passed, put a 1/1 counter on each adjacent character. Yeah, I guess I form like that. Let's see what happens. On the board, you have nothing that modifies your stats. Is that correct?
Yep. Team attack Green Goblin.
It's not a bad choice, actually. You know, I gotta deal the damage to the bigger one. Do I have any tricks? I don't think so. Let me just verify. Nope. I will take 5. Oh, god damn it. That's so good. Oh, that's so good. Do you have to activate to use that power again? Remind me.
Activate to use his power? Yes.
Yeah. You do. That's kind of silly. I think my
I
correct
agree.
course of action is to attack Lois Lane.
Attack Superman.
Yeah. I do have 2 slobber knockers.
Let's see.
The funny thing is, it's better for me to do it this way than to let you attack, because this way I force you to, like, you don't deal the breakthrough, and that matters.
Lose your slobber knockers.
Not if I am stunned.
Which you are. I thought it was on defense. Okay. In any circumstance.
Yeah, there's a similar plot twist that is I can exhaust a character to immediately flip it down.
That's probably what I'm thinking of.
Right. And this one is it's 1 attack or defense. I can only do it once a turn, but I get it back if my character is stunned.
Man, these power-ups are getting costly. I may not do this one.
It does get up there. You only lose the counter. You get to keep the Superman. Sure hope you don't have another 3-drop Superman, though, because that would be very sad. You take 3, putting me at 19. As a reminder, Carla is a free recovery.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
That may have been an overcommit. We'll find out.
I do not know. Taking my slobber knockers back. Those things are coming in handy. Alright, now it is actually my initiative this turn, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Knew I'd get one eventually. I am going to recruit. Melissa Gold. Well, first of all, I get a counter on her. I'm going to recruit Melissa Gold Songbird, who says whenever an adjacent character becomes stunned, she gets a 1/1 counter. I got to think about my formation a little bit. I want Goblin to keep improving Carla. That's very useful. Do I want Melissa Gold to get bigger from Goblin as well, or to protect Carla? I think I do it that way. Okay. We'll do that. I could probably waffle on that for a long time and never be right.
I'm going to recruit Superman.
No, it's moving Superman.
Superman's power is pay to endurance, move Superman, cosmic. While Superman is protecting a defender, that defender has reinforcement and invulnerability.
That's annoying. How many cards are in your hand?
3.
There's some silly shit that could go down this turn. I seem to remember you have a really, really annoying thing. I wonder if you got it. It's too silly to almost acknowledge. Alright, and you have to pay life to move him? 2 endurance?
2 life, yeah.
So I'm going to attack. Lois Lane doesn't have any additional power. She just
Nope.
kind of is.
Yep, she kind of is.
I'm going to attack 3-cost Superman with Carla.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Well, hold on. Bear with me. You could. Yeah, no, that might actually be right. I think that's right. We're doing it. You still have so many Supermen. Are you drawing cards from something?
I searched for one.
Okay, maybe that's the one. I sure hope I don't do that thing that I might do. 'Cause it's so awful.
I will reinforce him. I'm going to attack her with Gigunda Superman.
If nothing changes from that, we would both be stunned.
No.
No?
Your 3-drop cannot stun my 6
Oh,
drop.
you're attacking Sophin.
Yeah.
I thought you were attacking Melissa Gold. Interesting. Right. That's a thing you can do. I think I'm going to reinforce.
Seems like a good play, right?
Yeah, that's not bad. All right, I'm going to reinforce.
Mhm.
We're going to do it. So I'll take 3. feels like a trap. So do I think I can beat the trap? You can just give anyone reinforcement by paying 2 to move him. And invulnerability. It's real good. I am going to attack your foreground.
I will pay 2 to move Superman, so he is invulnerable and reinforced. So I will take nothing.
Yeah, that's a good deal for you. I think make you lose a character at least, I guess.
3 drop. He really wants to be in my front row. I get it. It's exciting. I will recover the foreground. Interesting.
Yeah.
I do not know
Me neither.
who to recruit. I mean, Superman, obviously.
I would think so.
Obviously.
I'm just going to adjust my counters now, lest I forget. This doesn't put me in a great position. That's for darn sure.
I think that I recruit Superman.
What does that one do?
Superman has Cosmic Activate. Target character can't attack this turn.
Interesting. I gotta think real careful, like, about what I do. There are some things I wish were different, like those last cards I drew. I would have liked them to be different. Interesting. Interesting.
I'm sensing you don't have a 7 drop.
Yeah, I've sorted that.
That's unfortunate.
Contemplates very, very unfortunate, I'm afraid.
You have a Phoenix drop?
That'd
If
be
you go
cool.
much below 6, that would not be good.
That's fair. I hear what you're saying. You got 3. You got 2 big attackers.
Supermans.
2 big attackers and 1 medium-sized attacker.
I have 3 face-up resources.
That's also true.
I have 3 cards in my hand. That's not what you're supposed to do.
Alright. So I've got the Beetle, Mach, Joystick, and Speed Demon. All of them get counters and do amazing things when they have bunches of counters.
Yep.
Sure is shitty I missed turns 1 and 2.
Yep. Yep.
And then for formation, I think this is probably right. This is probably a correct formation. Probably means you'll do that. That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you didn't expect that.
No, I did not.
You did not expect that.
I think I'm just gonna attack. I'm gonna attack you 6 drop with Superman.
You gonna. Yeah, it's pretty legit. Pretty legit play you done did. Pretty done legit. You done did.
Stop!
Totally
Stop!
did
Stop!
do.
Stop!
Just reviewing the old options. Just reviewing them. Sure wish I had a lot more life than I got. But I don't.
That's true.
I got this. So you see, if I do nothing, you will deal me 10, which puts me at 6.
Just 10? That's too bad.
It actually might be 9, because I have a counter. Will you accept it tomorrow?
Okay.
I'll take it. I don't like it. I don't need a tens column to defeat you. Right. Correct. I think I'm just gonna team attack your 6 drop. Attack is 6 plus 7, which is 13.
You are putting me in a position where,
I don't like it.
if I stun your 5-drop, I win the game.
Yes.
With Superman.
Yeah.
And a handful of cards.
I know. I've recruited a bunch of peewees. I'm
yeah.
doing what I can. We'll see what you got. To be fair, there isn't much of a position where I could put you that would remove your 6-drop from the board
Sure.
and not
Sure.
put myself in a similar position.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm just assessing. I understand, like, I'm reading from you that you're in a bad position, but it might be a hopeless position. I didn't read that from
We'll see. I haven't conceded yet. I might lose in an attack, but I haven't conceded yet.
I will stun the 3-drop.
Sure. I am at 4.
And I will take a 6.
6 it is. On the plus side, she's a free recovery.
Sure. Now,
I'm ready.
if I don't attack your 5-drop and I instead attack a 2-drop, if you can reinforce, we see another turn.
It's true.
Seeing another turn is not necessarily bad for me, but ending the game spectacularly
It's
is
better.
better.
It's way better.
I think I got a pretty good shot at it.
It's
It's
decent.
not certain. You're acting super confident. I'm gonna attack Green Goblin.
Oh, he's going for it.
I do have a Soaring to New Heights.
Okay.
Which is going to swing it in my favor quite a bit.
That's a big
right
one.
out of the gate.
Is that 3-3?
That's 3/3. Yeah.
Okay.
Ostensibly.
Right. Now that's pretty good. That's certainly a reasonable choice is to do that. Let me see what options I actually have at my disposal. I am going to power up with the Green Goblin.
Okay.
I am then... Wait for it. That'd be really silly if I did that. One more. I'm going to flip up. Now I'm fighting dirty. A target attacker or defender gets +1/+1 this attack. I can also discard my hand, and I get an additional +2/+2 this attack. But I'm not doing that. So I'm now 1 over you.
will feel really awful if we get to this turn.
That's 2 away. I am going to put a 1/1 counter on Green Goblin. I am Doom. Put a 1/1 counter on target character you control. There's a boost. I can KO a bunch of characters I control and put counters on Dr. Doom, which I'm not doing.
I think I'm going to accept.
I do get the counters done.
You do.
Here's where I hope I can get Lois flying and not screw that up. Attack Lois for 11.
I'm going to take 11. That is close.
I'm trying. I've drawn a lot of shenanigans. Not the characters I want, but a lot of shenanigans. So we'll see. Very good job at keeping Carla from becoming gigantic, though. I am going to, again, do the counters right now. I'm articulating that I'm doing the counters so we don't let me get away with doing it bunches of extra times. What? Oh, that's good. It is
Your initiative.
It is my initiative. I'm going to just stack a few no longer consequential cards. I am going to put down a resource. Do I need to put down a resource? Yeah, I'll put down a resource.
I was playing the Penguin deck now.
I'm going to recruit Venom. Now I draw the 7 drop.
Exhausts characters.
Venom
Oh, no, he's a
is
different
exhaust to KO target stunned character and gain endurance equal to its cost. Also, these characters get counters. So Beetle can no longer be stunned while attacking, and these characters would need an additional counter. If Speed Demon gets an additional counter, he has automatic reinforcement. If Joystick gets an additional counter, she has invulnerability, saving me 2 damage on every attack.
Okay.
And I probably form. Yep. No. Yes.
It's actually not really clear how this game is going to shake out
Depends
to
what you
me.
got.
I do have Superman.
Sure. And then what does this one do?
I don't know if I've ever recruited him. Cosmic. Discard a Team Superman character card from your hand. Target defender you control has invulnerability this attack.
Oh, interesting. That's pretty important in this case. It's kind of annoying.
Go like this. Sure.
That's pretty annoying. Right. Sure. That's fair. Dudes are gigantic. I guess I got a lot of big
Superman.
characters too.
There's
it's Superman.
8, 7,
yeah,
and 6 drop
yeah,
Superman.
no, that's fair. You make a reasonable case. You make a reasonable case.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even play a resource.
You should
and
do
I
that.
really need to
You
have.
do need to have played a resource. I accept. I think. All right, so he can exhaust to exhaust someone.
Target character can't attack this turn is his activated power.
And tell me one more time what he does. I gotta get
I
it
can
all straight.
discard a Team Superman character card from my hand, and target defender I control has invulnerability this attack.
So good. So important when the life totals are the life totals that they are. I think do I just have to go for 8 right out of the gate? Oh, it's so painful. Can I get him with my army of weenie characters?
You're probably pretty close, if not.
Let's quick run the math. It's worth doing. So he's 2.
All right, 18 to go.
10. 18.
Pretty
That's
close.
real close, but not quite.
You got your slobber knocker or whatever,
I
right?
do, but that's also very close. I even got 2. It's exactly enough. But if I don't get that stun, I'm in a lot of issues will have transpired. He can even give himself invulnerability.
It's true.
I wish that were not the case. Boy, that's close. That's so close. So what's plan B? If I do not do that, what is plan B? What the hell is plan B? I could just go big. Of course, he'll counterstun. So the question is, do I have an attack that lets me get ahead of you? You have 2 cards. You have to discard a Team Superman character. You have 2 cards in your hand. My alternative play is to try for a relatively safe attack. Arguably, Melissa Gold attacking 6-drop on the board is safe. You don't get the counterstun. That works significantly in my favor. I remove a big attacker from the table and don't get counterstun. I wish they had slightly higher attack. But I also want to threaten your Supermen by trying to eat them. Sweet, sweet Superman. I do have one nasty trick, but it's only going to happen once and isn't even decisive. And I don't want the game to go on an additional turn, which it might if I have to use it, which is awful. If I do that, you will do that. You will have to do that. And when you do, I will do that. How does that math out? It ain't pretty. I can't let you attack with 8-drop. It's just too much damage. So do I do it with... So that's... If I throw in Goblin...
You're guaranteeing the end of the game.
Not necessarily. I can gain life with Venom. And the bigger character of yours I eat, the more life I do get. Is there any value in doing it this way? Beetle can't be stunned. So I could actually just do it maybe with them. Is that enough? $11, 19, 24. That's probably enough. We're gonna do it. 24 against 8-drop Superman. We'll add one thing for you to ponder, which is if you do choose to stun Goblin, dealing me the 2 extra damage, I do get a counter on Melissa Gold.
I will target Goblin.
I don't blame you.
I think I take the damage as well.
I thought you might.
So I will go to -1.
And I will go to -1. And you bring out another Superman.
I think you can't interrupt it, but I'm not sure. I've been trying to figure out how that works for a while.
Probably not. Read the card.
Whenever a character you control named Superman becomes stunned, you may KO it. If you do, you may put a character card named Superman with cost lower than the cost of the KO'd card from your hand into your
that's
front row.
interesting.
I'm not sure.
You may KO. So I think I could interrupt it, but then you would still... How the hell does that work? All right, let me think about that.
So here's the thing.
Right, it's an on... Well, no, that's weird, because it triggers.
I KO it. That effect goes on the stack.
Right. So then if I...
You activate to KO my character, that effect goes on the stack. I can use the same ongoing plot twist to re-trigger my ability.
You might actually... Boy, I don't know. That's
but I'm not sure. It's
kind
not
of gray
quite a payment. It's worded weird.
Right. It's not a payment because it's like you have a binary option. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, Chris, you watch this stream since you're not here right now. You let us know if we did it wrong. We're going to go ahead with it for now. We're going to say, if I attempt to interrupt, that you can re-trigger. It might not work that way, but I don't know. So let's go ahead with it for the time being.
I mean, there's other shenanigans I can do, like.
Oh, man, that's really costly. That's a big deal because
The question is, here's what it breaks down to. So, I'm certain I can re-trigger the power.
Right.
The question is, do I need 2 Supermans to put into play to prevent your effect from triggering, or not?
I don't think so.
Superman is gone. Superman is here. Yeah. This Superman's power is, whenever a front row defender an opponent controls becomes stunned, KO it.
Yep.
But...
And we're both at -1 right now.
Yes.
Right on.
But my attack is going to be 6-drop Superman into the 3-drop.
Oh, interesting. How big is your attack?
13.
That's a big attack.
It's a big attack.
I wish that it were a smaller attack.
It's the smallest one I got.
Touche. Touche. I'm ecstatic about that. What do I do here? You got 2 giant dudes left. They're real big. They're real big dudes. If I do nothing, I'll take 5 breakthrough and 3 for the stun. Five breakthrough and 3 for the stun. I get the counter stun somehow. 5 breakthrough. 3 for the stun. Get the counter stun, I would need 5 attack, assuming you had absolutely no defensive bumps. Which, quite frankly, seems unlikely. Still got a card in your hand too, which I don't love. So I actually have to be a little bit careful because we may reach a point where it's not. I don't think we're quite there yet. We could reach a point where it's actually advantageous for you to keep a character of mine from attacking. I've only got 2 big attackers left, so if your lead becomes big enough, can you do that at any time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Sorry, we're having one of those moments here. If I do nothing, I'll be at -9. I don't get a counter stun. It's all kinds of bad. That's all kinds of bad. Then I will probably do that. And you'll have to do that. Which means I have to save that. Oh
Well,
my
at
god,
least-
this
at
one's
least-
getting deep.
At least we came down to some interesting choices at the end of this game.
Yeah. I have to. So this is very weird. I wish I could. Afterwards, you'll understand why this is taking so long. But I literally have like. I have to think like 6 plays deep. Normally it's like 2 complicated plays, and this time it's like 6 plays. It's really weird. Yeah, -9. You would do this. You would have to do that. Unless I did that, but I'm already so far negative. It's so terrible. I think I'm just going to take it. That might be a mistake. But we'll find out.
Melissa Gold can't attack.
Okay. So you took the gamble.
You should adjust your life.
I'm at -9. So you think I can't get you that low. Then I'm going to attack your 7-drop in the front. And I'm going to throw in... no, interesting. I don't think that one's useful here. I'm going to throw in a Slobberknocker and a Slobberknocker and a Grudge Match. That might not be all.
So I don't get the counter stun here. Grudge Match is the 3/3 one?
Yeah.
Man, that's a good plot twist.
I also
This is the second one you
have-
drew?
It is. I got
Oh,
one
yeah.
more thing I might have to do here.
Boy, I wish I drew plot twists this game.
Am I actually avoiding stun? I got to run the math. I have one more thing, and I
I'm pretty sure.
might just use it. So I am,
over by 1.
and my attack is +5. So if you don't have reinforcement, that is enough. And my defense is 3, so I'm over you by 1 right now.
Are you done or not?
I'm done for the timing. Right now, if nothing else changes and you
Your
don't
attack is
gain life,
21?
I've got you.
22.
Correct.
So I will take 8 breakthrough. I will take 15 from that. I think you got me. That might be the deciding factor. So I go to -16. And I have a 5 drop. So who's going to attack this 2 drop?
Right. Interesting. So your attack is 9.
I don't think that's enough.
Defense is 4. I don't have invulnerability yet. That's funny if that would matter. Hey, stop that. So if nothing else happens, you would deal 6 breakthrough and 2 for the stun. Which would just be enough.
You would still win.
Is that true?
No. I would win by 1.
Right.
Don't you dare get us to turn 9. I'll be so mad at you. You win or you lose.
No, that's fair. I think I've got it. I got this guy. I've been saving this for the right attack, and this will be my saving grace. And it comes right down to this one card. Dangerous Liaison. Many games this one doesn't get played. To play, KO a defender you control to remove all attackers from the attack.
Ah, good play.
That's funny. I think I get this one a lot, and I never get to use it. I was trying so hard to decide if this was the one to use it on because it was really big. Man, that was exhausting.
No wins for Ian tonight. Not
Yeah,
even
sorry.
2 games where I was way ahead. Oh, this was a much more interesting
This
game
was a very interesting game.
than the prior one.
Oh, God.
and I
There's
just
so
didn't
many
draw. I just
Supermen.
didn't draw any plot twists.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I had
interesting.
all the Supermans I could want, which was great, but I didn't have. I had 2
Oh.
stat bumps.
I kept expecting it. It's interesting to tell like what the.
I didn't draw Batman either.
You
Not
didn't draw
that it
Batman.
mattered.
Sure.
I didn't draw any of the things I could have used when I had Batman.
That's true. What was interesting about that game is I'm very torn on, like with that deck in general, I'm torn on what the appropriate, balance is between Supermen and plot twists, because, and maybe that wasn't right, but the flip side was you had a lot of Supermen, and I couldn't really push the character advantage the way or expected to.
Well,
because you
don't
kept
forget
having
that
more
every
Superman.
time I do that play, I go down a resource, which in the middle of the game really matters.
You go down a
Yeah,
resource.
I have to put a Superman in play that's less cost than the one I get.
Right, that's true. Though if you expect 2 characters to be stunned anyway, it's not necessarily bad. But it's fair. I'm not saying it's overpowered.
I haven't worked out because that's
but-
one of the new cards in this deck,
Yeah.
and I haven't worked out how to walk that line yet. Whether I think I'm a little bit on the side of overcommitting now.
Maybe. It's very hard
It's
to
hard
say.
to know,
It's
yeah.
very hard to say. I think that makes
I mean,
it interesting.
those last few plays, I think those were the right things to do.
Right.
In the middle,
Right.
there were 2 substitute or 2 whatever you want
Right.
to call that. 2 times I triggered that power where I wasn't sure.
I think that last turn, and honestly, that's one of the examples of why I would actually put that last turn pretty high up there on like reasons versus system is an amazing game. There were so many points of I had that again. I had KO a defender, and
So much.
Oh
You
my-
changed the outcome of so much.
it was crazy. It was crazy.
Like I'm like, all right, I have 8 drop, 7 drop, and 6 drop Superman, and a 7 and a 5 man. I'm like, I don't have 5 Supermans this turn, and I have like a 10 life
I know.
advantage. I'm just gonna roll over him, and I can use one of my Supermans to stop one of his big attackers, and you
know.
didn't even have any bigger attackers.
It was so strange. I mean,
And I didn't
It is
win. I
very
lost by a lot. A lot.
One
Some.
attack, one
Enough.
attack, but enough. But even this life difference, like
It's not
9
much,
to
yeah.
it's not much when you're that late in the game, and when you're dealing with really your characters. Pardon me, your characters were bigger than mine, but mine were not trivial. By the end, I built up a fair amount of counters.
Well, one of the weaknesses of Superman is what you were doing, and especially in the Thunderbolts decks that's realistic, is attacking with a lot of little characters.
right.
Like that hurts me a lot more than it
Right.
hurts you.
You don't have a lot of punch through.
Yeah.
And then of course your game becomes find the way to punch through, like pick apart and look for the big swings. I don't think these guys have any forced reinforcement, but I've got good backup. There might be some in here. I don't remember.
Maybe stopping the attack was the wrong choice.
I didn't think you were going to stop the attack, but also you couldn't have known I was going to be able to negate one of your other attacks. You might have suspected.
Well,
but-
what I was counting on was I thought you were going to. I thought you weren't going to prevent the stun on Venom. That was the surprising
Right.
piece of that.
Right,
I knew you were going to hit me really hard with Venom,
right.
but I thought I was going to get a counter stun out.
Which 7 life is a big
Or keep my big. I thought you were either going to go for my big attacker and get counter stunned,
Right.
or go for my little attacker and I surprise put the 5 drop into play, and I still have a big attacker.
So I would like to point out that had I taken that 7 damage, it would have been negative 16 to negative 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the.
Well, maybe throwing out the 9 drop was the wrong choice.
Yeah, good night. Oh no, that was
That's
Chris.
Chris
already
saying
said,
good
yeah.
night.
Casey's still around, but no,
45 minutes ago.
yeah. For some reason, I got my colors flipped and thought that was Casey heading out. But that game, but like trying to decide when to do that KO my own defender, and I've been sitting on that
That's
for a lot
That's
of
a
turns.
really good card for.
It's a really good late game.
Thunderbolts. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good card.
Because
It
if you
doesn't-
do them right, you have a lot of like
Yeah.
medium valuable characters. So
Yep.
any one of them you
Yep.
can pull out
Yep.
to foil a breakthrough.
And you have to save it for a critical point because I'm giving up a character, but I dodge damage completely. It's basically completely soak your attack, but I sacrifice a character. It doesn't synergize with Melissa Gold because I don't get the stun for the counter, but I think that's still okay. Such a strange game, and the technicality of the way you had to fight against Melissa Gold and Goblin. That's one of my favorite things about the deck. They always make me think about how I form, and as a result of that, it also means you have to think about how you pick that apart. Because Goblin is always the weaker target, but he always makes Melissa Gold bigger. And because I had Carla Soffin in the picture, she's just sitting there, just gradually becoming more and more of a threat.
Well, I attacked her rather than your 2-drop
Yep.
with my lead because my 5-drop couldn't deal with her very well.
Right. It became a risk, right?
Yeah.
And it's so even there, and figuring out what was interesting about the setup is I really wanted to eat someone with venom. You foiled that, we think.
Yeah, that may have been wrong. I don't know.
But nonetheless, that was foiled. And then I'm sitting there with that grudge match. What I actually was thinking I was going to do was hit your 6-drop with Songbird, use the grudge match there for just a pretty threatening amount of damage, and then eat your 6-drop and be ahead of you.
Oh.
But because of
I kind of wish you did. It would have gone really well for me.
Well, it may well have, because you could have brought out the 5-drop for sure. And I still would have gotten to foil something, but I was really, really nervous. I mean, I don't even know what I would have done with certainty based on the sequence of events.
Well, I do think, actually...
I can't believe you had every card in your hand was a Superman you could play.
Well, I never drew anything else.
I know. I'm telling you, it paid.
I think the way that location, or the ongoing plot just works is... Mine can't be a surprise. So I can't wait till you choose to eat the character.
Right.
Mine goes on the stack.
Right.
And I lead.
Yeah, the question is... it's a little tricky, but the wording is... When one thing happens, this result occurs. So I don't know if it's the stun occurs, anything that would trigger off of that then happens, which would include when a character adjacent is stunned and so forth. So that goes on the stack, and then you can respond to it. And I don't know if there's I don't even know. I guess I don't know if there's an option to trigger it. You might have to trigger the effect, which is you may do something.
Right.
And so in that context, I don't know. Well, I will have to pester Chris to take a look. Maybe that doesn't work. I don't know.
It's confusing.
It is. It's a weird scenario.
It's funny that
I'm not sure.
I think we've said this before, but
we still get them.
We've played for 10 years. We've streamed for a year and a half.
We still get
and we still get situations where it's I don't know how these interact.
Yeah, that was a neat one.
Have we played for 10 years? It's been close to it.
I think it's been about. Well, when did I know you for a full year when I got it?
We always try to do this math and we never arrive at it.
Well, here's what I can tell you: is we have just recently crossed. I don't remember if we talked about this in stream, but just about a month and a half ago, crossed my 10 years in the industry mark.
That was your first job, so it's probably about that.
So it's probably close to that, because I think I got you and Chris the cards during the birthday game day. So it's probably 9.5 years. So I'm willing to round that up to 10. In the roughly 10 years we've been playing, we're still encountering those occurrences. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, that last turn, it's everything affected everything. It's just so weird. Oh, it was weird. Shutting down Songbird still could have been the right choice. I don't know. It's a weird...
Well, you can still pump... She still pumps, right? Or just
she
adjacent
gets... She gets bigger when adjacent characters are stunned.
So yes, but it's costly.
Yeah. There's some really cool, crazy... this whole deck... I mean, Grudge Match is really good. It requires that you do a very specific attack, but it's very good. But other than that, pretty much everything else that's really strong in the deck has a very high price. Which is one of the reasons I actually like Thunderbolts. They've got the slow creep of the counters with big swings that are costly.
The other thing I was considering for that play is I wanted you to feel like you had to attack with Venom rather than eat something.
You did force me into that.
Because if I play both my Supermans and then you get to eat something, that's your game. Right,
that's true. That's true. Well, it's so interesting. Because again, you couldn't have known I had a foil, a true foil. But hey, even if you'd known I had that, or if you had known, it puts you in an interesting position, because then it's like maybe the double power up can swing it and get the counter stun, and maybe that's more valuable. I don't know.
I couldn't believe. I mean, it was in the calculus, but I couldn't believe a maybe counter stun is worth a character, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like
Yeah,
a 7 drop.
Yeah, it's
right?
weird. It's weird.
or even a 5 drop.
That turn you brought out a 7 drop and a 5 drop.
And an 8 drop.
That was nuts.
All right. Well, we went a little late tonight.
Well, we started a little late. We went a little late. We had a lot of games.
A lot of mediocre games. That was. I mean, I was worried that was not going to be a good game. It was kind of a mixed draw for both of us.
Yeah,
but
sometimes,
I wound up
sometimes that can make for.
I don't know if that makes it a good game, but it was a good turn at least.
I agree.
We'll say good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Casey.
Thanks for watching.
And everyone else.
We'll see you next week.